Sleepy Lizard podcast. This is our third episode of Guac Talk.
Yep.
I'm here with Julian and Lara from Lara Farms. Tommy, I need you to do a tech check for me. Make sure we sound good. Make sure we look good. I'm just glad smell doesn't transmit through these things because I don't smell real good right now.
I don't smell anything. I mean, you didn't take a shower today.
I'm just trying to keep.
You didn't take a shower yesterday.
Trying
You're
to
too
keep
busy.
to myself, you know. Tomboy, I need you. Get over here.
Yeah, I know. I'm grabbing my phone so I can do what you told me.
No, but I need you to adjust the camera.
This is Tom, Sleepy Lizard, the man that never sleeps.
That's true. It should be Wakey Lizard because I can't stop.
No, but you're sleepy because you're always working.
That is the problem, yeah. Especially this time of year. Tilt the camera down just a little bit more, Tom. Just give it a little bit of a tilt. Thank you. I appreciate it. So the reason for today's podcast, there's a few things we need to talk about. That's good right there, buddy. Just tighten that up. Yep. A few things we wanted to talk about today. Number one is we're really, I think, just getting into late season now, or what you consider late season. I consider it late season. You're probably still feeling mid-season.
Yeah.
Yeah. From a commercial grower standpoint, we call like the choquettes and the
As long as they have the right size, you can pick.
Yeah. But for us, they're considered late season. You've got late seasons that start in January, February.
Well, you know, you can pick choquette as early as October, November, as long as
we pick them in September.
As long as they have the right size.
Yeah.
Okay. But as we spoken last time, the longer you leave it on the tree, the more better it tastes.
Yeah. But one thing that happened was last week I made a video about huge avocados, some really giant ones that we grow. And I just found a huge one out in the grove, Julian. Look at
What?
This. Look at the size of that.
What the
sucker.
heck is that?
Look at the
Is that
size of
Marcus
that.
pumpkin?
That's a huge Marcus pumpkin. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Biggest avocado I ever saw.
Now, how was the tree like leaning or what?
No, it's a giant tree. It's 40 stories high.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to get it with
It's an old grove.
Elon Musk helped me get it with one of his rockets.
Yeah? Did it land again?
Yeah, it landed
It was a
in the
heavy
thing,
load.
yeah. And like Donald Trump said, and the arms came out and caught it. It was a wonderful thing.
The chopsticks.
But anyways, we wanted to not only show y'all, but eat a Marcus pumpkin. We'll wait for Paul to get here. I know he really
By
likes
the way,
this,
yeah, Paul Neeson is
this
coming.
variety,
for
yeah.
trees.
I have a Monroe, but it's fresh picked. We ain't gonna be eating that sucker. Julian's gonna introduce
A new avocado variety that I'm calling Bumpy. And I'll show you why we call it
Contrast.
Bumpy, yeah. Here's a nice Monroe, nice smooth. Well, it's kind of, kind of bumpy too, but this is the Bumpy. Can you imagine that? Look at that.
Look at the bumps on that thing.
Those mountains.
And do you have a history on that one, Julian?
I'll tell you about it. Somebody brought me this budwood. I don't remember how I got budwood of this.
Okay.
I don't know if somebody brought it to me or I saw it somewhere. I don't remember. And I've asked a lot of people if they recognize this variety. So if there's anybody watching right now and recognizes this avocado, leave it in the comments because we want to know if this is a named variety already. Because if not, I'm just going to call it Bumpy.
Yeah, and did you contrast it to the Monroe, the smooth skin? Yeah. It's amazing. Have you tasted this sucker yet?
I have not.
Okay, and is there either of these ready
Yes.
today? Okay, fantastic. Yes. And so we'll do that. We'll wait for Paul. Let's see who's here this week, Julian. We've got Greater Good, always here. We have Alex. We can't wait for the stream. Gary Simpson, who's the man of many faces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So just the usual suspects.
Yeah, Gary will be here with all his different alter egos. New account that shouldn't count wants to know, are us guys down in Florida? Are we?
Are we guys here in Florida?
Yeah, we're down in Florida. We're way down in Florida. In fact, we're in Homestead, all the way at the bottom of the turnpike, pretty much north of the Key Largo.
Almost where the turnpike finishes.
Yeah, we could go to Key Largo for lunch and be back in time, Cupcake Betty loves the 30-minute notification. I know. Betty, I'll tell you what, man, I am so busy. Plus that hurricane, we had 2 hurricanes come through, and they set me back because when we have hurricanes, we don't ship. And so I had 2 weeks in a row where I couldn't ship. So I had like a backlog earlier in the week where I had to send stuff out. And then to make up for the lack of sales during the hurricane, I really stepped on the gas with promotions
Right.
and had a lot of picking and shipping to do. And then we had a Halloween party last night, but it was kind of a low effort, low energy party.
Well,
Wasn't
you put a lot of effort into the food. There was
the
a
food
ton
was
of
good.
food.
The food was good.
And
yeah.
but the thing is, your speaker didn't want to work.
I know.
It malfunctioned.
I know. We were gonna do karaoke and my speaker didn't work. It was a whole thing. It fell apart. It was embarrassing. I'll do better next year.
I had a good time.
I'll do better next year, Julian. Gary Simpson wants to know.
Where are these people calling from? Where are they from? Do you know what state?
Chime in. Let us know where y'all are from. Someone wants to know, is that a Christmas tree in the background? It's October. He might be referring to my picture of the stream. Oh, well, there's Christmas lights, but they're little avocado lights. I don't know what you're referring to. Cupcakes here. Miho Simpson. Looks like you'll be eating star fruit after the avocados. Why would he say that? No, this ain't a star fruit. Tell them what that is, Julian.
Oh, this is Jamaica's national fruit, the ackee.
I've never tried it. I'm dying to try it.
It's not native to Jamaica, it's native to Africa. And it's the same family as lychee. And this is the ackee fruit, right here. In Spanish, we call it seso vegetal, which translates into vegetable brains.
Oh, I never heard of that.
Yeah, it looks like a little rat brain.
And well, you'll show us when Paul gets
Oh, we're
here.
gonna eat it.
Yeah,
We're gonna eat it.
yeah. I want Noah to try some too. Shamil06, welcome. Okay, he's having a good day. Today was a fantastic day for you. I'm glad, and I hope we can make the next hour or so even more fantastic. Carson Harmington, which is our man of many faces, is talking about his farm. As far as I know, he's got a farm in India, a farm in Indonesia, a farm in Africa.
For every personality?
He's got tons of farms, this guy. Flycatcher 1234. The past few days, you haven't eaten many avocados, but we reminded you to go to the grocery store and buy some more. And if you don't want to go to the grocery store and you'd rather buy them from us, you can get them from me at guacfarm.com. GUACFARM.com. Right now we're doing Choquette and Monroe, which look like these. And then Julian, tell them where they can get avocados from you and what varieties you're growing.
Right, well, you can get an avocado mix box from me of different varieties. And I also sell Mame fruit, I also sell star fruit, and anything else that comes into season that I think is suitable for shipping. I also sell on my website, larafarmsmiami.com, all together. larafarmsmiami.com.
Perfect.
And if you go there, you can also find tropical fruit trees for sale as well, and even this shirt right here.
Julian, have you ever tried to do a little math and just calculated how many trees you've sold to people over the years? Like how many tens of thousands of backyards have fruit trees that came through your hands?
Well, just from the website, and I'm talking about orders, because each order can have one item, one tree, or it can have 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 in one order. So far, since I started my website until now, I've had over 9,000 orders.
And that's a fraction of the time you've been selling fruit trees.
Correct. And before that, let's say before COVID, because my whole website thing started thanks to COVID.
Yeah.
And I decided to open up a website as another stream of income, and it's worked out wonderfully. And I've been able to spread tropical fruit throughout the nation, throughout America, the United States. And it's amazing because now the chances of all these rare varieties that I sell on my website to be preserved in other people's custody collection. So I'm not only the sole custodian of the Bumpicado, it's going to be other people as well.
Yeah.
Because back in the days before the website, it was just pretty much a local business, and people who held custody of these rare varieties were only local within Florida, because I didn't have the outreach that I have now, which is a beautiful thing. It's poetic. So before the website, I've had decades of clientele. not just from me, but from my father as well,
Yeah.
who helped spread Mame, Sapote, and Sapadilla and other avocado varieties throughout the state of Florida for decades. So we've contributed in reforestating, or just not really reforestating, but filling in empty spaces with fruitful trees.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be in the hundreds of thousands, right, over that time frame.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that's an exaggerated number.
No, I mean, even if you looked at a few hundred a month, right, which
Yeah.
would be a low estimate
Which would
over
be
all those years,
Yeah.
it would rack into the hundreds of thousands.
It could,
you
it
know.
could, on a daily basis. And my dad would even go to the farm on Christmas, and I would get so mad at him. Dad,
Yeah.
how can you go there on Christmas? He goes, no, Dad, Julian, we have to water the trees even on Christmas.
That's the thing about farming. Farming never stops. Farming, you're always on the job.
You're tired today? You have to water the trees.
Dude, let me tell you something. A buddy of mine asked me to help his father-in-law cut his mame tree, and I drove up to Coral Gables expecting, I mentioned this yesterday, expecting a little mame tree in someone's backyard.
Really?
This thing was a fully mature beast.
2 stories high?
Higher than yeah, up over the house, and that was the main thing.
And you got on a ladder and you cut that thing down?
I got on a ladder.
The whole thing down to a stump? or
No,
just halfway?
trimmed it to about a foot below his roof height.
Oh.
Just gave it a nice good trimming.
Okay.
You know?
Right. Cut it in half.
Cut it in half, basically. Yeah, but on the ladder with the pole saw, you know what I mean?
Right.
I was so tired. Yet Friday was one of those days.
You're so tired that you couldn't take a shower.
No. Friday was one of those days when I came home and I said to myself, make sure you finish everything you need to do. Whatever you need to do in the garage, whatever you need to do with the truck, whatever you need to do outside. Because once your boots come off, they ain't going back on.
Yep.
They're not going back on.
Yep.
And it was just one of those days. Now you're tired, you're sore, you're dehydrated, but then you just feel so good. You feel so good from putting in a hard day's work. Like that.
Let me tell you, you're in good shape.
It's
you're
real work.
You're in great shape, and you should attribute that to all the hard work you put in every. Look at that bicep.
Bam.
WEF, guys.
Yep.
He's ready to go to the WEF.
Oof. And then we got Kevin Ramos here, quote my rap lyrics. Pokemon lover, he started building up some muscles. Hope you've been hitting the gym too. I actually did get back into the gym 2 weeks ago. Usually I take the gym off for the months of August and September because it's just too goddamn hot. I can't work and hit the gym. I'm too dehydrated. So generally every year I take off August and September. I get a little fatter on the waist because I eat so many mangoes.
Because of the reserves.
And then,
the body reserves.
And the mangoes. I pig out on mangoes. I get fat off of mangoes.
Yeah.
And then once...
But your body can assimilate it. It's a natural fruit. It's not refined sugar.
No.
It's natural sugar that your body has throughout nature been designed to absorb and to acclimate and get rid of all that sugar a lot faster than we would with breakfast cereal.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, I'm out picking all day. And up to this year...
You're detoxing too. Not only are you
Sweating like
are you working out, but you're detoxing by sweating. It's like going into a sauna.
Yeah.
You're living here in Miami-Dade County.
Oh my God, it's brutal. And then up to this year, I was doing all my picking with a pick and pull.
Right.
And finally now, I rent a picking machine, and I'm buying my own picking machine going forward. Which, by the way,
I would love to have one of those.
Since I'm buying this picking machine, please go to guacfarm.com and buy some avocados for me because I need to come up with a down payment. GUACFARM.com.
And they're expensive.
Help me out. They're expensive.
They're expensive.
They're very expensive.
My goodness.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing to them.
It's a diesel engine and a hydraulic pump.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
all
nothing to
is.
it.
That's all it is. But I need it at this point. I can't keep up, nor do I have the physical
I
energy.
haven't been able to come up with the money for that
They're
either.
brutal. They're brutal.
You got to get them used. You can't even think about brand new.
Oh, good. People are already fighting with each other on the chat, which is awesome. I don't have moderators. I don't cancel people, so you guys can fight with each other all you want. I'm like Elon Musk. I'm just, what does he call himself? A free speech absolutist or something?
Advocate.
Yeah, I believe if you guys want to fight with each other, I don't care. Go ahead. Greater Good, frozen mango. Julian brought me some frozen mame.
Oh yeah, I brought frozen mame slices.
Yeah.
Key West mame in particular. And I do still have mame for sale, and it's on my website. And I can promise you, nobody else has mame right now.
Yeah, I don't know of anyone that's picking mame right now.
I just have so many trees on my place that I pick them little by little. I don't pick them all in one shot. So I got a lot that stay on the tree for a long time, and they are, let me tell you, blood red.
Yeah. Widow Sling Shooter wants to know what this stream is going to be about. He already knows it's about avocados. I mean, we're going to talk about, you know, the late season varieties. I did some videos on this Marcus pumpkin, which comes as no surprise to Julian, because then all of a sudden he starts getting texts, phone calls, and emails about the Marcus pumpkin tree, right?
What's going on here? Why are people interested in Marcus pumpkin?
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden I noticed that you and Paul Neeson made a video about Marcus pumpkin.
Yeah, and my wife ate it and went, ooh, you know, so that got a lot of views. And so we want to talk about the Marcus pumpkin. Cupcake Betty can see and hear us, but she can't smell me, which again is a good thing because,
you know, I really don't smell anything coming off of you.
Good, okay, good, because I
As long as
usually
you don't raise your hand if you're sure, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, I usually like to coif myself a little bit, take a little shower, shave, get ready for the live stream.
Well,
But
deodorant does wonders.
I have deodorant on, but I had some customers come to, they just, you know, like in person, which is crazy because they say location, location, location. I've got a place even the firemen have a hard time finding when we had our house fire.
I like your location.
We're hidden.
Because it's like entering the bat cave.
It is like, it's hidden, yeah, it's hidden, yeah.
That's cool, I like that.
Yeah, standoff Mandarin can't smell me either, which is good. Cupcake Betty's ready to take some notes. She loves the ridges on the Marcus pumpkin. I think now would be a good time. Tell them about the Marcus pumpkin, Julian.
Okay, well, Marcus pumpkin is a local variety here at Homestead. And it was a seedling of, I'm guessing, a choquette. And for some reason, it was crossed with maybe another Guatemalan type, but it kept its West Indian traits, which is big and somewhat smooth skin. Guatemalan or Mexican avocados are not this big. They usually stay like this. This is a Taylor avocado, and Taylor is a Guatemalan type, and it's probably mixed with West Indian as well, but it kept to its Guatemalan traits. This one kept more towards the West Indian traits because it's such a large fruit.
Yeah.
And speaking about large fruit, look at this monster.
The Catalina.
Yeah, I've never
That's
seen
a beast.
a Cuban Catalina this big before.
Yeah.
And people are, you know, raving on how Marcus pumpkin is so big, but look at this guy. I mean, this is not your average Catalina size. This is not your average Catalina, but this is a whopper.
Yeah. Yeah. I just sold my last Catalina today. I got a couple of Catalina trees, and I had 2 customers come by just an hour ago, and both of them wanted to do the same thing. They're like, I don't want a lot of avocados. I want variety.
Right.
And so we just walked the grove, and I had they got Catalina, Black Prince, Hall, Choquette, and then I told them, listen, Monroe, it's not officially time for Monroe yet, but we found a couple big fat ones. I mean, it's next week. And actually, a lot of the packing houses have a dispensation to start picking them 2 weeks early anyhow. So people have been picking Monroe since last week. And so I said, let's find the biggest, fattest Monroes we could find. And 2 guys got sent home with Hall, Monroe, Choquette, Black Prince, and Catalina. And so now they're going to get to sample them. And then the next thing they'll do is show up at your doorstep and say, hey, I tried these, I like them. And then that's what they'll plant in their yard.
Because I have like probably 30 or 35 different avocado varieties in my collection, and on the website as well. I don't know if it's 35 or 30 that I have available in a 1 gallon pot or a 3 gallon pot on my website, but it's a lot of varieties to keep up with.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And to be grafting. This year, I planted a ton of avocado seeds.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, an every year ritual is time to harvest avocados for seeds.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been bringing Julian, when I fill orders, I put like my runts and rejects to the side.
Right.
And then I've been giving him the seeds too to plant.
Runts and rejects are welcome for
seeds. For seeds, yeah. So about this Marcus pumpkin variety, this huge variety of avocado we've been talking about. Tell them a little bit about the growing characteristics and why it is so rare and hard to find.
Right, well, it doesn't produce a lot of fruit. If it gets a lot of direct sunlight on every area of the tree, of the circumference of the tree, it can make you a decent amount of fruit. But since the fruit is so big, it produces a, you know, sparingly amount. So, and they call it Marcus pumpkin because it has these ridges. I don't know if you can see these ridges like a pumpkin. Look at these ridges. Just like a pumpkin, huh? It's super cool. You can carve out a jack-o'-lantern and this avocado.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
How it does these ridges.
Yeah.
It's nature imitating nature.
Yep.
And I repeat myself. I say that constantly about all different types of fruit trees.
Yeah.
Because they imitate nature. We got mangoes that taste like coconut.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got mangoes
Yeah.
that taste like tangerine oranges.
Yeah.
And how is this possible? How do they communicate with each other?
Yeah.
And transmit their flavor profiles to each other?
Yeah.
It's all probably in the DNA. They all have maybe a common ancestral denominator.
Yep.
That it's been in the code since the ancient times. Who
Or
knows?
it could be survival, right? If coconuts taste good, so things ate coconuts, and then anything that tasted like a
It's
coconut
their survival
also
instinct.
got kept, you know what I mean? And they'd eat it, and an animal would poop it out and grow a new one,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But one thing I want to say too about the ridges, and you had mentioned Choquette lineage. Choquette have a very subtle ridge to them. If you one with sometimes a Monroe could look a little like a Choquette. Like this is more of an oval shaped Monroe. Now most of my Monroes are more round. They're asymmetrical but round. But every now and then if you get an oval shaped one, the way to tell if it's a Monroe or a Choquette is rub your fingers and you'll feel the little pumpkin ridges, but they're more subtle on a Choquette
Yeah, you hardly feel
than they
it.
are on a Monroe.
I can see it a little bit from here.
What's that? No, this is another pumpkin. That's
Oh,
a
another
Marcus
pumpkin.
pumpkin.
Oh,
That's
okay,
the Marcus
okay.
pumpkin,
Okay,
yeah, that you brought, yeah.
Well, this one really. This is just and it's almost ripe. This one will probably be ready tomorrow.
Dude, let me tell
And this one has ridges as well.
I'm ready to dig in right now, but Paul has to get it. I don't want to screw Paul over.
No, I know.
But
no, and I want to try this Bumpy
I
Cotto.
do too. But
This one right here,
my
right.
my buddy called me up. He goes, "Hey, I got some Marcus for you," because I've been asking around for years. I've been hearing about this, and people who grow them have told me you only get like 20 or 25 off the tree. Now a Monroe, I'll get hundreds off of one tree. Marcus pumpkin, you get 20 or 25, which means that a farmer ain't gonna grow them. It's just there's no money in it. You couldn't unless you charged, $50 each.
Well, a
year.
grower can have one tree in their
A
collection.
grower can have one tree for themselves, or
Have
in
it
your
for
case,
like
for Budwood.
Yeah.
But for me, I'd rather a Monroe, you
Right.
know what I mean, than a Marcus pumpkin. So by and large, they're gonna be a backyard crop. Now, there are a few groves that have them, but then even them, when they pick, you're only getting 1 or 2 bins. Like, for example, I'll get 4 dozen bins of Monroes out of my Monroes, You get 1 or 2 bins of these, and they go instantly. But I didn't expect it to taste so good. I thought the novelty was the size and the pumpkin shape. When my wife and we were out in the Grove, when we bit into that first one, I think I immediately came in and texted you. The Marcus pumpkin is just delicious.
Yeah.
And for me with avocados, it's like that classic bell curve. So you got the ones I kind of don't like. There's a few, and then you got this big cluster in the middle that are all kind of similar that I like. But then you got this little tail on the other end that are like the really, really good ones. Like to me, the Lula, the Simmons, the Brogdon, the Marcus pumpkin. Now everyone's tastes are different, but this one, having tasted this a week ago, it is on my list now as like in my top 5.
Really?
It is. Oh my God, is it good?
Oh, I
my
gotta
God,
try it
is
again.
Good. Yeah. So, Winston Stuger wants to know which avocado is a better producer, Russell or Simmons?
Gosh, they both produce really good.
They do produce really good, yeah.
Both of them are very heavy producers.
Tell me this, my Simmons appear to grow a lot slower than my other varieties. Is that just me, or is that?
Simmons is a dwarfy tree.
Okay, Simmons is, yeah, because my
Compared to like a Marcus pumpkin.
Okay.
Marcus pumpkin grows up like a candle.
yeah, the Monroe grow like crazy too.
Yeah, they go
Now,
straight
what
up.
about a Russell? Will that grow faster?
It's
slower?
more leggy, but it does grow tall.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
not like a Simmons.
Yeah.
Simmons is more short and
Yeah.
wide.
And small,
straight up.
narrow diameter branches and trunks and stuff like that. They don't have that big old trunk with coming off.
It's not a
more wiry.
lollipop. It doesn't grow like a
Right?
lollipop.
Yeah, it's more of
No.
a wiry.
It's
yeah.
a short and wide.
Yeah, but mine have barely grown in the 13 years I've been here, my Simmons. I trim them every year, but unlike my Choquettes, which are like a problem. Like my Choquettes, every few years, they start, not only do they grow, but the canopy starts creeping higher. And then every like 5th year, I got to do like a real short haircut and bring my canopy back down low, So I don't think you could go wrong either way. let me look. I forget who asked that question, but I don't think you could go wrong either way with a Russell and a Simmons. And I think the Simmons flavor profile, you're going to get that nice nutty, firm,
Pasty.
Yeah. And then the Russell, you're going to get that buttery creaminess. And the Simmons is earlier than the Russell, so why not do both? Although I think they're both flowering type A, so you might want to find a B to mix in there, but
Or hopefully someone in the neighborhood has a type B,
yeah.
which would be like a Miguel or what, a Monroe?
Monroe, Brogdon, I don't know, I'll think of them as we go here. So anyways, that's the answer.
You know, I got a table on my website, an avocado table, which is just basically a graph, not a graph, but like a printout of all the varieties that I have on my collection, and I tell you what type they are on that page. Let me look it up. Let me see if I-
Cupcake Betty, she's calling the bumps striations. Good word. Striations.
Imagine if we cross this avocado with Russell.
That would be cool.
Get like a bumpy Russell.
A big old, it'd look like a club you could hit somebody with.
Yeah.
It'd look like a weapon.
It'll be like a bumpy Russell. We can call it Bumpy Johnson.
I mean, look, at our age, you and me, Julian, we got a chance to maybe come up with a couple varieties.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we're not 20, you know, but we
Yeah.
could still plant a seed and
Yeah.
maybe bring a variety or two to market.
Yeah, we gotta
Yeah.
wait like, we gotta have a decade to spare.
Yeah,
At least
exactly.
a decade.
Yeah. And cupcakes, or I'm sorry, no, this is Kiki Haywood. The Bumpy Cotto, it looks different but good. And we're about to try it. And then Julian also showed the Taylor here. Or is it Tyler or Taylor?
I think it's Taylor.
Okay, the Taylor. And this is what a lot of my seedling avocados look like. When I'm out in the groves and some of them have regressed or they sent out a sucker. And they tend to be bland to bitter. But
They probably look like a Lula seedling.
they look like a Lula seedling, yeah. Which they probably are,
They
right?
probably are.
Yeah. But you gave me one of these 2 seasons ago, and I fell in love with this variety.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
like a Florida
so
version
good.
of the Haas. This
It's
one was,
so good.
Taylor was grown by a lot of commercial avocado growers in Homestead and Kendall.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, Kendall was that's the last name of, it's not just the city, it's the last name of the biggest avocado grower in that area.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
it's so massive that the city was called Kendall.
Yeah.
Because he owned the land of an entire city.
Wow.
And
Wow.
they grew between him and Mr. Crone, Mr. Kendall and Mr. Crone, between both of them, they grew a lot of varieties, and this was one of them, the Taylor, and this was Miami's version of the Haas. So we can compete with California. But at some point in the beginning, South Florida supplied avocado to the entire North American continent.
Yeah.
Solely South Florida.
Yeah.
That was
the
before
Haas,
avocado.
The
That was
Haas
before
didn't come
Cali.
around till the 1930s. He planted the trees in the 20s, and the Haas one came out in the 30s.
Right.
Yeah.
But it didn't get adopted by the American diet until much later.
Right. Before that, it was what we grew here.
And then in the 40s and 50s and the 60s, this area that we're sitting in right now was just all avocado or swampland.
Yeah.
And mango.
Yeah.
So anyways, here's the table that I was telling you about.
Oh, okay. Where is that?
That's on my
your
website,
which is what? Tell me.
LairFarmsMiami.com. I wish I could put it in the bottom of the screen.
I know. I need to do better. You can do that, but I need to figure that out.
So here it tells you the type. All these, there's two tables here,
Yeah.
right? So it tells you Guatemalan West Indian hybrid, Guatemalan West Indian hybrid. For Hall is Guatemalan West Indian
Yep.
hybrid,
And then
and
when
it
to
tells you
pick
the
'em.
month, and then it doesn't have the type A or B on here. I thought
No.
it did.
We can go back and add that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's pretty
Yeah,
much.
that's a
And
good
it tells
list.
you the time of
That's
the
a
year
good
too.
list. Yeah.
When you can start picking.
Yeah. We're getting people, Puerto Rico, Texas, a lot of people from California.
Oh,
which
they're
is
telling
no
us. They're
surprise.
telling us where they're from.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that.
Orlando area, no surprise there. And then I'm getting a lot of people here too, Julian, who can't wait to get their Apmes. They're on your waiting list for the Apme
Yeah,
variety avocado.
before there was really any video published on Atme, I was selling it on my website just solely from promotion that I made on my Facebook.
Yeah.
And I've sold a lot of Atmes already, not including the ones that are in the pre-order list.
Yeah.
But you know, hopefully they'll be ready very early next year
Yeah.
because avocados are pretty fast and pretty easy to graft.
Yeah, yeah. And then God's Work from New York wants to know, can he get our avocados in where he lives? And yes, you can. You just heard Julian say you can get from him at larafarmsmiami.com, or you can get from me at guacfarm.com. And I think you have Simmons, I have Simmons, but then I have Monroe. I don't think you have Monroe. Do you have Monroe?
Yeah,
Oh, you do have Monroe.
I got a Monroe tree.
Oh, I didn't know you had Monroe. Oh, you have one Monroe tree.
Right.
Okay, I got
You got
200.
tons.
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
tons. I got like
Yeah.
1 or 2 trees of each variety
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
collection.
Okay, so, and which is why Julian can give a variety box. I tend to just have 2 earlies, 2 mids, 2 lates. In my
Right, because I'm a nursery. I'm a nursery,
Yeah.
and I need to have the materials to graft
Mm-hmm.
or clone these trees. So, in order to do that, I have to have a tree accessible to me
of everything.
of everything, so you don't have to knock on, bother people's. Oh, can I get some
Yeah.
budwood? I'm back for some budwood this year.
Yeah.
I just have it all at my place.
Yep.
And it ensures the freshness of the budwood.
Yeah.
So I cut it and it goes straight to my greenhouse.
Yeah. So again, God's Work, if you want to get some, go to guacfarm.com or larafarmsmiami.com. And then we have Winston is here from Suriname. He's in the ultra tropical zone,
Yeah.
he says.
Yeah.
And then
I had a customer from Suriname come in the other day.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Suriname.
cool.
No, it was Guyana.
Oh,
Guyana.
okay.
It wasn't Suriname, but I've had customers from Suriname before.
Looks like Paul's here.
Yep.
Paul wanted to come and film a video before we started today. So he must have really got caught in traffic because he was going to be here early. Plus, he's got the babies with him.
That's
You know
right.
how that could be. Yeah. Okay, RV Forever. He got 15 acres and he's ready to learn and plant many avocados and needs to get them from us.
Where's he calling from?
I was just going to say that, RV. Google your USDA hardiness zone of where you live, and then we can help make
Or
some
just tell us the city.
recommendations. Or the city, yeah.
Yeah, where it's by. If it's like some little unknown city in Central Florida, tell us it's like by Orlando.
Okay, so Cupcake Betty is telling us, Julian, there's a variety called Malayan. Malian, M-A-L.
What is this? What kind of fruit?
An avocado called
Malayan.
M-A-L-I-A-N that she has seen that's very bumpy.
Milan.
Okay, you know the name of it?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just
And,
Milan. Let me look. Let me Google it.
yep, and Roundabout Hexagon's dad grows Paso Robles. Tommy boy,
Yeah.
help Paul get in, okay? He's out at the garage. Thank you. Broke Farmers here. Spiritual Realm is here. They can grow up to 40 feet. Avocado trees and mango trees grow really good. Okay, Growing Rare Fruit got the box of choquette I sent to him. If you got it this week, it's probably going to be about 3 or 4 more days before they soften up. And if you follow the instructions that are in the box of how to stretch them out, you'll be enjoying avocado for the next couple of
I didn't
weeks.
find any Milan avocado on Google.
Okay.
It doesn't exist on Google.
All right, okay. Cupcake, you're right. I brought the gun show. Bam, give me like 2. But around Christmas time, I'll be looking like I want to look. I'll tighten up around Christmas time. It's how long it'll take.
You're gonna get to 12% body mass.
I don't get that low anymore. I used to. When I used to race bikes, I would have 1% body fat because I looked like I was on chemotherapy. I was like skinny, and my t-shirts would be hanging off. But I was like 50 pounds, 45 pounds lighter back then. But no, I'll just tighten up. I'll just tighten up for a couple months, and then next summer I'll let myself go again. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Sunshine Country Chickens is supporting us. He ordered some Scions. Thank you very much, Sunshine. I appreciate that. Which avocado is it? Oh, we got that, Russell or Simmons. Man, this is hard to operate, this chat. Okay, we got Roberto N from California. And then we got R Moosehead, who just started following us. So thank you, R Moosehead, and welcome to the channel. Growing Rare Fruit, who just mentioned he just got choquettes from us, or she, has a Marcus pumpkin plant in the back of the house, no fruit yet. All right, well, that's awesome. You're in for a treat if you haven't tasted them yet. They are so good. Ronnie wants to know, where's Paul? I just saw him drive up my road out the window here, so he'll be here in a minute. My son is helping to usher him in. Greater Good is asking people to hit the like button. Thank you for that. I need to do that more. I never ask people to like and comment. I'm a very bad YouTuber.
Bad YouTuber.
Bad YouTuber, yeah. Moosehead, question. You're a Florida drone pilot currently testing for your spray certifications. Is there demand for services in your area? I never see people here in Dade County spraying from airplanes and drones and stuff like that. Well, I didn't know you could do it from drones, but from airplanes. We just do it with tractors. But when I go fishing up in Palm Beach County, in the canals up there, there's big, giant farms. Maybe it's sugar cane. I don't know what they grow.
Right.
Probably sugar cane. And I've seen that. Actually, they've flown right over me. I wonder what the hell I got sprayed with.
I've seen crop dusters down here back in the day.
In back in the days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen them
They've
now.
flown over me and dusted me too.
The only time I remember is when we had a fruit fly back in like 2016, and they were spraying for the fruit fly. But other than that, but I see them up in Palm Beach County. But yeah, I don't know how that works, Moosehead. Sounds like a cool job though. I always thought that would be a cool job to tell someone on an airplane, like, hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a crop duster, you know? Joe Serrano, hello from Mexico. Fantastic. And yeah, it is cool how Julian and his dad have reforested so much. And it's a never-ending battle here in Miami because it's a cliche. It's a joke. People move here, buy a house. The first thing they do is cut down all the trees. The first thing they do is cut down all the trees. They want concrete. I don't get it.
Well, it's just that, I guess, that northeastern mentality where you want a nice lawn.
It could be the lawns too, yeah.
You want the grass, because that represents, just health.
Well, I feel like what I hear is like, oh, the fruit drops and it makes a mess. Oh, I don't want to have to trim it.
Well,
in a
yeah.
hurricane, it'll blow over and hit my house. Well, one thing they learned in Hurricane Andrew is that particularly oaks actually protected people's houses. And I saw it, dude. I saw it in Hurricane Irma. My avocados were bending over like this. My mangoes bending over. Palm trees, woof, like rubber bands.
Yeah.
The oaks were just like standing proud.
You know what else? Bottle brush.
Stands up to hurricane?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The oak trees, and I think it's because their branches grow like straight out instead of up. And it's like when you're in a car, if you put your arm out the window this way, the wind don't blow it. If you put it that way, and they're just out there breaking up the wind. Like they didn't even tilt. They didn't even come up a little bit. And so I think people think they're afraid a tree's gonna fall on their house when in fact it might be protecting it. Hey, little buddy, how you doing?
Hello.
Paul's here. Hi, Laura, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
They're in the bedroom.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh, the baby's so big.
Yeah. Look at the size. Can you
baby.
tell Noe to come out for a minute, Laura?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Is Tommy helping Paul?
I asked him, he said he was good.
Oh, he's good? Okay. Tommy, run in there and get my spray. It should be like on my desk or something, or is it right there? I have coffee taste. Yuck.
Like,
Damn it. I always feel pressure when my son's a football player, and whenever he wants me to do something athletic, I choke. Because him and his friends, like, they're like squirrels. They never miss, you know? By the way, Tommy, I meant to tell you, warming up for the game, when you went out for that bomb and the kid overthrew it, and you just kicked it in the afterburner and pulled that in, do you remember when it went out left?
Yeah.
That was nice, dude.
Yeah.
That was nice. Because he overthrew you. Well, he threw it the right way. You know, he made you run to it. Growing rare fruit out in Paso Robles. He's got a choquette that's fruiting. Okay, so you got a box of choquettes from me so you could taste them. And you've got I don't know, it looks like a 2.5-year-old, 2 foot tall, 5 foot wide tree. Yeah, I mean, once they're grafted, they're gonna try to fruit. I've gotten little guys from you, 1 gallon.
Right.
And they'll flower and try to fruit on me.
Yeah, that's
you
their
know
instinct.
what I mean?
That's their
Yeah.
instinct because they're a piece of an old tree.
Yeah.
It's a piece that was grafted on a young seedling that it's just using the seedling just for the root system.
Yeah.
And everything above the graft is
a mature tree
is
that
a mature
wants
tree
to-
that's probably decades old.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
growing on that little
Yeah.
root system.
Yeah, I get it, and I make videos about it, and they always do really well because in social media, when you get comments, your videos do better. And so I go out to my, waist high and chest high trees in the springtime, and there'll be flowers, and they're just starting to set fruit, and I prune them. And people get so mad at me.
Yeah.
They yell at me.
When they're flowering,
Yeah. When they start to fruit. Oh, what a waste of fruit. Oh,
you're
you're
thinning them out.
you have to. It's you know, there's no point having a 4-year-old tree grow 1 Monroe.
Oh, I get it.
Right?
Yeah.
It's going to give me 1 or 2 Monroe that's going to bend it over, maybe break the branches,
stress
maybe
it out.
drop
It's
it.
gonna
Paul's
stress it
here,
out.
everybody. Hey, Paul, how you doing, buddy?
Great.
Welcome and welcome home from your trip.
Thank you.
So what we do is when a tree starts to flower and produce just a little pea-sized fruit, when they're young, we go and prune the boughs of flowers off, the panicles. Because we would rather the tree put energy to growing bigger. I would rather wait 5 or 6 years and get 60 fruit off a tree
Right.
than get 2 fruit per year, and when he's 6, he's small and only giving me a dozen.
Well, when you thin avocados or mango, or especially mango,
Yeah.
you know, it's better to thin it when it has the little baby fruit. Okay, because sometimes when you remove the flower, the tree flowers
It'll
again.
reflower.
It'll flower
Yeah.
again. So it's better to wait until it's made a baby fruit. That way, it won't flower again.
Yeah. But I get in such big trouble
Yeah.
in the comments. Oh, you're wasting fruit. Oh, I would never do
But
that.
you're doing that on a small tree because a young tree actually. So it doesn't stress out and it can get bigger faster. So it can make
It makes more.
makes more fruit.
So if you measure it over the course of a decade, by taking 2 or 3 years and culling 1, 2, or 3 fruit, you've wasted 4. But over the course of a decade, you're going to get hundreds more out of that tree,
Right,
Because he's
well,
going to grow bigger faster.
Let's say you force the tree to focus only on growing.
Right.
So, yeah, you'll be removing the fruit off
Yeah.
of the tree for a
Yeah.
while until it looks the way you want it to look.
Yeah. Yep.
So it makes a lot of fruit.
Yep. Joe Serrano wants to know: have you ever tried to harvest sap from a Sapadilla tree?
Interesting.
The
No.
sap.
Yeah, because the sap is called chicle.
And
And the chicle is what they used to use back in the days to make chicle, which is gum in Spanish.
chicle.
And that's where we get the name chiclets from.
Really?
It's from the chicle of the Sapadilla.
You know that you grew up speaking Spanish, right? Did you
Right.
speak Spanish first and then English, or did you speak both?
Both.
Okay, because that's one of the words we learn in school.
Chicle.
Chicle.
Yeah. And it comes, that's the word, that
Like, you
word
know,
comes from
they-
the chicle of
Yeah.
the Sapadilla.
They make you take that one Spanish class, you know, up
Yeah.
in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Baño, chicle.
Yeah.
You know, then you come
Señora.
down here, you got to learn complicated words like ikipaje, berenjena. You know that
Berenjena.
one?
Yeah, berenjena.
Eggplant?
That's eggplant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Berenjena.
I thought I was going to sneak a word in, you might not.
They're
know.
in the bedroom.
Okay. Paul, come join us whenever you want, Bubba. Tucson Tropicals wishes we could ship to Arizona. Yeah, I could ship fruit to Arizona, but it's my understanding they block trees. They do let my avocados in, but Arizona's pretty strict.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Neeson.
Put your hand. Wait, he's got to turn his camera on.
That helps.
Ready? Let's do it over again.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Neeson.
All the way from Lake Worth, Florida, Mr. Paul Neeson. So Paul,
everybody.
Paul just got back from a long trip, a road trip.
Yes.
Did you rent an RV for that, or did you buy an RV?
I didn't drive the RV. I
It was there.
actually, I rented it to be there.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay,
Yes.
so you drove in your car, and then slept in the
Yes.
RV.
Okay, Growing Rare Fruit has 2 Apmes pre-ordered. Oh my God, Paul, did you see the giant, my biggest avocado I got? Turn around, Julian, show him. Look at this thing.
Whoa.
Look at this thing. It is a beast.
It really is.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get bigger boxes.
That's a pumpkin.
Marcus-
It's a Marcus
Marcus
pumpkin.
pumpkin.
Yeah, it's huge.
Wow.
Our Moosehead just hit the like button. Thank you. I don't like to be begging for likes and shares.
Hey, that's what they do.
I know, but I don't know.
That's what they do.
I consider
Like it if you like, hit
I
the
know,
like
but-
button if you like this big Marcus Pumpkin.
I consider myself a notch above. You know what? Or you want to know how I get comments?
No.
I'll show like I'll say like something about like something people don't like. You know what I mean? Like I'll say, "Oh, I spray my trees," and then they get mad at me and say I'm killing the earth.
Tell them you use Roundup. That really
Oh, Roundup's a good one. Glyphosate.
That upsets me.
Yeah, you talk about glyphosate, you're dead meat. Or you know what the big one lately has been, especially I had an Instagram go viral about the Marcus pumpkin, which we've been waiting for you to get here to eat because I know you like
Thank
it.
you, thank you.
I would say every fifth comment, someone's like, "Oh, that's GMO. Oh, that's man-made.
Well,
Oh, that's a
everything is
fake."
GMO.
Well, it depends what your
It's not,
definition
it's
is.
not genetically modified, it's just hybrids.
Yeah, but here's the thing: people think that means like in a lab, right?
That means we're genetically modified too, because we're hybrids
Because of
of,
selection. Natural
we're
selection.
hybrids of people, just
Yeah.
like all these are hybrids.
There's
Yeah.
a difference between genetically modified,
Right.
which is GMO,
Right,
and
right.
hybridized. There's
Right.
a difference.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
GMO is really bad. You don't want anything to do with
No,
GMO.
no.
Hybridized is just a natural process that man intervenes to make something
To make a
Yeah,
better
but even-
tomato,
but
to make
here's
a
the
better
thing.
bell pepper.
But the true definition of a hybrid is cross species.
Yeah,
so
exactly,
like
exactly.
two different avocados technically isn't even a hybrid. It's just two different.
Right, it's like a Guatemalan,
Ethnicities, really, yeah.
a Guatemalan and a Cuban had a baby.
Exactly.
And that's the
Well,
chocolate.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there are some that do that. It just happens by itself, and there's some that hybridize it to happen.
I mean, there's people
Right.
that pollinate
Yeah,
with
yeah.
a particular, but
Well,
it's no different than what
Choquette
happens in
was
nature.
was hybridized intentionally. A lot of the bell peppers, carrots, broccoli, you name it.
Yeah, but if people go on and whenever the topic comes up, so they're slaughtering me about that's GMO, that's man-made, they're killing the planet, blah, blah, blah. And then I tell them, I say, hey, Google the list of GMO products.
Right.
Do you know did I ever told you this? Do you know how
No.
big the list is?
No.
Want to take a guess?
No,
12.
12.
Yeah,
There's only
yeah,
12
yeah.
GMO products on the market, and one of them is cotton. And
Yeah.
so even one of them ain't even a food. So there's this boogeyman out there, GMO, man.
Well, GMOs when they add like the genes of a fish.
Well, they're actually dicking around with the genes. That's
They're
a
putting
different story.
a fish gene on, and they're mixing it with corn, so the corn is more oily. I mean, I don't know exactly what it's like,
not good.
but it's from other animals put into vegetables.
Yeah, and the thing of it is that people assume. So they see a headline, or they see like a blurb on Facebook, and then they start talking about this is like some
Genetically
man-made
modified man-made
anomaly,
avocado.
and it's
No.
not. It just grew from seed.
You know, like avocados, this particular type of avocados, or the West Indian types, are the biggest in the avocado family.
Yeah.
They're Guatemalan and Mexican cousins. Where they're not really cousins, it's the same species.
It's the same
but
species.
it's just, it's like their cousins from Guatemala and Mexico
Yeah.
are different. They're like this.
Yeah.
This is your typical Guatemalan type right here, and this is your typical West Indian type. So when you cross this, you get maybe something like a choquette.
Yeah.
You know?
Paul, we have a question
Well-
here. Have you ever tasted an alligator pear?
No.
Yes, you have. You're
It's
looking
an
at them.
avocado.
Yeah.
That's what
So-
they call
Trick
it.
question.
But the GMO thing, if it's like not GMO but hybridized, like watermelons have been hybridized to not have seeds, but they're not healthier. They've been hybridized to be sweeter and have no seeds, so
It's
on a
without
health
purpose.
standpoint, they're
There's
not
no purpose
healthy.
for that fruit to
Well,
exist in nature.
much of what the commercial industry is looking for is shelf life, and they forego nutrients, they forego flavor to have fruit that looks good on the shelf.
And the seedless watermelons are not as sweet as the seeded watermelons.
Please, I bite into like a grown water. You see a guy with his pickup truck down here on 187th. Just a nice grown locally watermelon. It brings me back to the 70s and the 80s when I was a kid, where the seeds have that little slime around them. You know what I mean? And your mom's telling you don't swallow them; it'll grow a watermelon in your belly.
yeah.
You go to Publix now and get one of those things. They're just cellulose.
They don't have any seeded watermelons anywhere.
well, not in the supermarkets. they
Or
don't.
Walmart or
Yeah.
anywhere. But have you guys ever tried a yellow watermelon?
Yes, I have.
grew
It's
one.
phenomenal.
I just
They're
grew one.
delicious.
Phenomenal.
They're delicious.
Yeah.
It's better than the red. Now, in my experience, for some reason, yellow versions always taste better to me.
I think they're good. Paul's whole damn backyard was watermelons
Yeah,
when we were
there's
up
a
there in
lot
the
of
summer.
varieties, so there's so many different ones, but the yellow one is excellent. I mean, all the yellow ones I've tasted was super sweet.
Yeah.
Red ones, you can get some good and some not so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Chuck-
The thing that people upsets my viewers the most.
Yeah,
How do you say lychee?
lychees.
How do you say it?
Lychee.
Yeah, when I say Lychee.
You're like William Shatner.
People-
You say
Dude.
sabotage instead of sabotage.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
get so upset.
Sabotage.
Yeah.
My
Sabotage the
viewers get
system.
so upset if you say something just a little
Well,
off.
But you
People
say-
really get on you about
But
your
you say
pronunciation.
you're
You
consistent.
particularly.
You're a consistent mispronouncer. You say choquette. You say Loretta.
Yeah.
And you say what is it you just said right now?
Lychee.
Okay, you want to hear his best?
Lychee. There's lychee, lychee, or what? What do you say?
Lychee.
I say lychee. Do you want to hear?
Oh, you say lychee.
Do you want to hear Paul's best mispronunciation? What are them corn-like ones I grow on that fern plant out there?
Monster del Rosia.
Monster del Rosia.
Wait, Monsteria del Osia.
Close. Monstera deliciosa. But that's Latin. I
Hey,
wouldn't.
can you say Astaphantin?
Astaphantin? Yeah, I think I said it.
Astaphantin.
Astaphantin. Boom.
Yeah, good.
That's the fan.
Drop the glasses. What is it? What did I just
Can
say?
you say Gesundheit?
Gesundheit. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. What is astaxanthin?
Oh, it's something that it's
It's a
an
drug.
It's an algae.
It's a drug.
Oh, okay. It
that
sounds like a
people
drug.
don't know
Okay, yeah, I don't know it.
how to pronounce it.
So anyway,
Well, we were talking about thinning.
Have
oh,
you seen
there's-
have you seen a Catalina this big before?
No, I have not.
Let's eat it, man.
And Catalina's wonderful,
They're
but it's
delicious.
late for a Catalina.
It's late
right?
for a Catalina.
Yeah, so-
Dig in, man. Cut
Well,
it
you know,
open.
a Catalina is September, October, and then somewhat early
Well, they're
November.
good now because avocados are good when they're later in
Later,
the season,
yeah.
not early.
Yeah, but
Cut
this
it
is
open,
this
Paul.
is the biggest Catalina I've ever
I've
seen in
never
my
seen
life.
one like that.
This is humongous.
Let's eat it. And then in the meantime, Tropical Garden Guy says he really should have thinned his longanids this year. You're right, I should have too. A lot of people should have. It was a very big crop of longanids this year. In fact, I got a bunch I never even got to. They're
Yeah,
turning black
yeah,
on the tree
yeah,
right
yeah,
now,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, those you gotta thin.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Here we go. I've been waiting, Paul. I'm getting
No.
a little hangry.
No balsamic vinegar needed.
Nothing. Look at what would you call that right there? What kind of peel?
Easy peel.
And look, this has got it doesn't have that brittle skin. It's got that supple skin.
All right, at least toast the guy, man.
Boom. There we
Toast.
go.
That's what
Cheers.
it looks like. Catalina.
It reminds me of like butter.
I love Catalina. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice.
You know, for being in the fridge, it's still pretty good.
Yep. Paul, my dad just called you ZZ Top. Do you get that a lot with the beard?
Not ZZ Top, but I get stuff.
You do get stuff about
Yes.
the beard.
I love ZZ Top.
Your dad's on there?
My dad's on.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello, Tom's dad.
His name is Tom also.
Okay.
As was his dad and his grandpa and
Hello,
his
Tom
great grandpa.
Senior.
The first one died in a mine cave in like
Oh,
the
man.
1880s.
Gosh.
I have the newspaper article.
That's terrible.
And then Greater Good is now quoting ZZ Top songs. Darth X wants to know how much does an avocado tree cost?
Depends what size you buy it, right?
In a 1 gallon, well, they can range, but in a 1 gallon, average cost is $45. And then in 3 gallons, they go for like $85. Depends on the variety, but let's say 90% of them are 45 in 1 gallon and 85 in 3 gallons.
O.C. Neal wants to know why Florida avocados are sweet rather than oily. And let me preface this by saying, and I try to beat this drum a lot, there really isn't a Florida avocado versus the Hass, although the market would make you believe that. The fact is the Marcus pumpkin is very different from the Monroe, which is very different from the Taylor, which is very different from the Catalina that we're eating right now, which is very different from what I assume this Bumpy Cotto is gonna taste like.
Is that a seedling?
We're gonna dig into it in a second.
Bumpy Cotto, you know, I don't remember where I got the budwood from.
Yeah.
I don't remember stumbling across it and saying, "Oh, look at this bumpy avocado. Let me
Yeah.
get budwood." No, it's most likely somebody brought it in,
Yeah.
and it's top worked. So I top worked it. I think somebody sent it to me by mail from Puerto Rico, but I talked to everybody in Puerto Rico that I know, and they don't remember sending me this.
Yeah.
So I still
Hey.
gotta investigate to find out where
Listen.
I got this.
Our live streams have a broad reach. Hundreds of people, or dozens of people are gonna see this live stream. And so maybe they'll be able to
Hopefully.
identify it. But back to the question, hang on a second, Paul. Back to the question about avocados, the flavor of Florida versus California. California, you're mainly talking about the Hass. Yeah, there's the Fuerte and the Zutano and stuff like that, but 95% of the market is the Hass. And that's high in oil content, but so is the Monroe. And when you eat a Monroe, you get that avocado aftertaste. Whereas the Marcus Pumpkin does not have that. The Marcus Pumpkin has a sweet, starchy flavor. We talked about the Russell that has a buttery flavor. We talked, now the Hall, we haven't brought the Hall up today. That, like the Monroe, is high in oil content.
Very
and you
tasty.
and you get that Hass vibe from it. So it's not really that Florida avocados are sweet per se, just that the varieties you've tried from Florida are sweet. But we've got them that are oily. We've got them that are nutty, like the Simmons, right?
I mean, they're all pretty nutty except for a handful that are on the watery side.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, but we don't really, we don't really eat those. And but at the end of the day, I don't care what avocado it is that I have when I'm eating my plate of rice and beans.
Oh, dude,
I don't care what avocado it is.
it's the best.
No.
What?
If the avocado is watery and been picked too soon, like one of the store-bought ones,
Right. Well, you'll be
it
making a
makes
huge effort.
even with rice and beans.
You would have to make a huge.
You know
you have to put salt on it.
It's like
You have to take it with a grain of salt. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But let's say if it's on the watery side, like a Hialeah red, it goes down well.
I'll tell you what, that Hialeah red we ate on the last podcast blew my mind. It was delicious.
Yeah, it wasn't that watery.
No.
And the flavor, that's why I liked it, because the color of the skin and the flavor, even though it was on the watery side, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, and a lot of what people are experiencing with watery or bland Florida variety avocados is the handling. It's not the variety
they
itself.
pick it too soon.
Yeah, they pick them too early. I mean, Paul, even you with your history this year of the Donnie, I think even you had a Donnie very late in the Donnie, and it was
decent.
At least
It was
decent,
yeah.
which is a lot for you. I mean, you were very against that
I'll
Donnie.
tell you, an early season Choquette is just as watery as an early season Donnie.
You gotta pick it. Look, you go
But
out.
later in the season, they're excellent.
You grow tomatoes. If you go out in your garden and pick them too early, they're not going to taste like a good tomato.
Well, I like green tomatoes.
Well, they'll taste like a green tomato.
Sour.
They're going to taste like a green tomato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something else, you know what else has an avocado aftertaste? This.
Oh, we got to try that.
You down to try this?
Of course.
Let's do it. Darth X pronounces it Li Chi. Infallible proof.
It removed all that red stuff.
Which two avocados would you plant in Arizona? Well, here's the thing, Infallible. We need to know where you are, because you guys have desert where it's in the hundreds of degrees in Arizona. You also have ski resorts, so we need to know your elevation. Now, I've never had this before. I've heard.
Really? You haven't?
No, and I've heard so much about it.
Okay. Yeah, Aki, you have to wait till it opens up in order to eat it. If you eat it when it's closed, before it opens, before it cracks, it has cyanide. But now like this, it's perfectly safe to eat. Okay. Now they call it seso vegetal in Spanish, which translates into vegetable brain.
Okay.
It does look like a brain.
It does have like a brainy. Yeah.
And to me, it tastes like a sweet peanut, like a green peanut, and then with an avocado.
Oh, Nelly, come here.
With an avocado aftertaste.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's a great snack.
I almost feel like taste this. This is ackee. You know how our Jamaican customers are always asking us if we grow ackee?
Yeah.
Not only is it to have cyanide, but
Oh
it
my God.
literally
Yeah.
can kill you if you eat it before it opens up. I mean, there are deaths every year of people that don't know that. Another
Wow.
It's good, isn't it?
I know it.
Yeah.
It's like eating like after you swallow it, it tastes like avocado.
There's a
the
little aftertaste.
I know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Now, very few people
good.
Wow.
actually eat it raw. Most people cook it.
Yeah.
And when they cook it, the national dish of Jamaica is ackee and swordfish.
And it's the national fruit in
Yeah,
Jamaica.
It's the national fruit, and ackee and swordfish is the dish. And
Right.
it's interesting because swordfish isn't even in Jamaica. They had to get it from out of there, so that's a big
Well,
controversy.
it's a
there.
nature's tofu because it picks up the flavor of whatever you cook it
Let me
with.
tell you something. I'm sitting here trying to figure out what I'm getting.
Yeah.
I'm getting asparagus.
Yeah.
I'm getting asparagus
Yeah.
flavor.
But it's really sweet.
Yeah.
The best way I found to
Oh,
eat it
that's
if you're gonna
good.
eat it raw is to freeze it actually, and then when it thaws out, it has a buttery and it's sweeter. and I haven't had it cooked though, but I eat it raw all the time.
Yeah, no, there's two kinds. There's the red kind, which is this, and there's the yellow. And the yellow's one is the one that they call butter aki.
Yeah, that's a soft one.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. But these get soft when they ripen all the way. This is just opened up, so it's still very crunchy. But even though it's more crunchy like a raw cashew.
I'm gonna have another bite.
I don't recommend getting a tree if you have a small space because
It turns into a giant.
It does?
really
Yeah, it's a huge
fast.
tree.
And even if you trim it really fast, I had a townhouse and I had this tree, and it was bigger than the house. I mean, it grows really fast, and you're not going to be able to harvest all the fruit on the top. And I don't recommend it if you don't have a big space.
I sell these trees grafted. So they make fruit in a 7-gallon pot, which is amazing because usually you have to wait 8 to 10 years for these things to make fruit. But you can achieve fruit on this tree in a 7-gallon pot, which is amazing.
I'm a convert. I like it. I like it. That's another.
It's a great snack.
I'll tell you what. Since I know you guys, you've turned me on to jackfruit, Mame Americana, the fancy versions of mango. I didn't feel comfortable in that space.
Used to upset Paul telling him that your favorite mango was Hayden.
Well, and I've updated that to Valencia Pride. Okay,
It's still bad.
still-
It's still bad.
Okay, but I allowed you guys to invite me into that upper echelon of mango eating, you know, and
Elite level
the elite, yeah. Because I don't know, I don't
of
want
mango awareness.
I don't want people to think I think I'm better than them. Like, oh, that guy, he only eats the white berry and the lemon zest. I
Hey,
want
that's a
people to
smart
know I'm
guy,
a
though.
man of the people. You know, like I'll have a Valencia Pride and chug a beer.
Yeah, back in
know?
the 90s, Glenn, Carey, Hayden, Kit, and Kent were the cutting edge mangoes of their time. Nandak Mai, that was the cutting edge. But today, that's antique variety.
It is.
It's antique variety.
Yeah.
We got these new varieties,
But
which
then
you guys should know about.
But then again, I do drive a 1997 Dodge Dakota. You know, I've been
And a VW.
and a
And an ancient-
1957 VW.
Yeah.
I've been married to my wife. We had our anniversary 2 weeks ago. 27 years.
Wow,
So
that's
I'm
beautiful.
living in the past. I still have a jean jacket. Living in the past.
I used to
Hey, but a lot of people wear jean jackets. That still looks good.
Yeah.
Some things are like, the
a
80s.
dungaree's jacket.
Dungaree jacket.
Dungaree.
Dungaree.
The 80s, let me tell you something, man. My children listen to the music of their father. And I, as children of my parents, never fathomed listening to listen to their music.
Elvis.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, I will never listen to that. But my kids listen to my
Yeah.
music. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Were your parents older
80s
than
and
the
90s.
Beatles era? What era would your parents?
No, my parents were up there with
Yeah.
the Beatles and
Okay.
Elvis, yeah.
Okay. Because
So-
you are a Beatles fan.
When I
But
Well-
now, maybe not when you were a kid.
Well,
but
the
now
reason
you
why
are.
I'm a Beatles fan is because my brother
Okay.
would listen to the Beatles. I
Gotcha.
mean, this was back in the 70s,
So
you
in
know.
the early 90s, I used to come down here, or the late 90s, and I used to go to Robert is Here fruit
Yeah,
stand.
yeah.
From New York, I used to fly down, go to the airport, and drive out to Robert is Here. It's the only fruit stand I knew out here at that time. And I used to ask Robert, what's your favorite mango? And he said, Kit. Kit and Kent were his two favorite
Yeah.
mangoes, and they sold them
Yeah.
and I always
Well,
wanted to have them.
they're highly produced in this area.
But at the time, they were the
Thousands
mango.
of acres.
They were the mango at the time.
Yeah,
And then
that was a cutting edge mango.
I love me a kid. I love a kid.
Yeah.
I love a
Yeah.
nice kid.
Glenn, Carey,
Let
cutting
me
edge.
tell you something. I've been to their grove.
Tommy
where they
Atkins
grow the
cutting
kits.
edge.
Their kits are beautiful, immaculate.
Yeah. Oh, they grow kit throughout the world. I went to the Dominican Republic, and as far as the eye can see,
Yeah.
you see rows and rows and rows of kit. And they'll bring me kits. They'll be like, I'll be hanging out with the former president, Hipólito Mejia, visiting mango farms in the best places in the country where they need zero maintenance, zero watering, zero fertilizer, and they're growing immaculately, no disease. And then lo and behold, they bring us a plate of sliced mangoes, peeled and sliced mangoes to eat. And I'm like, what is this? It's kit. Like, whoa, this is amazing. And it's just kit. And the kits were green like this. And they picked them, in my opinion, were premature. And they ripened them and they were tasting amazing, even like that.
Yeah, I my kit, and although it was a bad mango year this year, my kit production was pretty good. Infallible Proof wants to know, he lives in Phoenix. We asked him where he lives in Arizona. I know from experience it could get chilly in Phoenix in the nighttime.
You know, I have plenty of customers in Arizona that buy fruit trees from me. and their problem is extreme heat because it gets to 120, 130. And what I tell them is to make a shade house. Buy 85% shade cloth and make a shade house for your mango or mame or avocado tree or whatever it is you want to grow out there, because it's possible. Because that shade house can provide shade for the extreme heat and at the same time can provide warmth during the winter months. You can replace the shade cloth with plastic, and that should be enough to protect the tree during these extreme seasons of weather that you get over there. And again, also make the tree grow as fast as possible, use the all-purpose Miracle Grow. I mean, you can use 20, but I usually tell people use all-purpose Miracle Grow because that's more catchy and people are more familiar with it.
Yeah, you just go to Home Depot and
You
get
can go
it.
to any hardware store and get it, and that's the best fertilizer for every plant except for mango.
Yeah.
Mangoes don't need any fertilizer, to be honest.
Yeah. We're not really citrus guys.
Well, I used to be a big citrus
Okay,
guy.
so Jack Holman wants to know, do mandarins grow well in Florida?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the Mandarin state. It's the orange state.
Oh, man.
We have with our number one industry in Florida is tourism. Number 2, citrus agriculture. That's the number 2 industry.
Well, not anymore.
It still is.
I mean,
The number 2 industry is agriculture.
Agriculture.
yeah, but not orange, not citrus.
Well, there's still a lot of citrus, and let
At
me
least
tell
South
you,
Florida
they
has-
decimated citrus in South Florida just to protect the citrus
Central
industry
Florida,
in
yeah.
Central Florida. They cut down so many citrus trees down here in South Florida to protect
Yeah.
the citrus industry in Central Florida.
No, they would show up and just go on your property with chainsaws and cut it was bad.
This is going
In
down.
fact, you know what? If that happened now, there'd probably be people getting shot. Just
There
'cause
were people
things-
getting shot.
Okay, were there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was
Yeah.
a lot of people pissed off and shooting at inspectors.
Yeah.
And these poor inspectors are like, hey, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah. Julian, here's one for you. Regina Morales lives in Valencia, California. Where can she buy a 7-gallon avocado tree?
LaraFarmsMiami.com, and it will be everything gets shipped UPS. And in California, it takes 2 days to arrive. Once I print the label, it takes 2 days to arrive to California. And you can go on my website, scroll all the way down, and look for 7-gallon plants. Click on it, and then look for 7-gallon avocado.
And I can vouch for that because every Monday I end my day chit-chatting with Julian. We bump into each other at the UPS depot.
Yeah.
And I'm unloading avocados and he's unloading trees to
Yeah.
go all around the country.
Yeah, and
Yeah. Oh, go.
no, and we drop it off at the distribution center, me and him.
Yeah.
To avoid that extra
The
middleman
and the
in
handling
between
and
the handling.
the dropping
So
and
we're
the
handling
switching.
everything ourselves, and we're handing it over to the belt.
Yeah.
That goes
right on
into
the
the rigs.
right on the rollers.
It goes around the rollers and goes straight into the truck, and there's nobody else touching that box from that point on. Because before that point, you go to the UPS store, and then you got the guy at the UPS store giving it to the driver, and then the driver throwing it in the truck, and then throwing it out the truck into the belt. We avoid all that stuff, and we deliver it straight to the belt.
Yeah. Paul, what did you want to say, buddy?
Going back to that previous question about growing citrus here,
Okay.
it's not easy in South Florida to grow citrus. It takes
No.
work because of the disease that's out there.
That's right.
A lot of if you can't just plant it and forget about it, you have to maintain it and maintenance it if you want it to be successful. It could be successful, but it does take a good amount of work with the citrus.
I used to
in South
sell
Florida.
citrus trees back in the 80s and 90s with my dad, and I learned one of the first things I learned how to graft was citrus.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, my dad put me on citrus grafting just to learn how to graft. And I would do side veneers and I would do chip budding
Really?
on citrus. And I was pretty obsessed with citrus for a long time. I loved citrus, and we had so many varieties of citrus. Back in the days, we had thornless key lime trees.
Yeah.
We had thornless sour orange trees, which is unheard of. We have, tangerine. We had the pumpkin tangerine. We had the Dancy tangerine. We had navel oranges. We had Valencia oranges. We had ruby red grapefruit. Pine Island grapefruit, which is the best grapefruit out of all of the grapefruits.
Is it really?
So sweet. We had Tangors, which is a hybrid of tangerine and tangelos. And we had Tangelo, we had the honey bell Tangelo. We had so many varieties of citrus and key limes. Key limes was the #1 seller.
Yeah.
And to maintain those citrus trees was such so expensive because not even the fertilizer. Fertilizer is nothing. We have a little thing called leaf miner. And the leaf miner insect, okay, it's like a little moth, lays the egg on the leaf, and then the egg hatches, and out comes this little worm that crawls in the epidermis of the leaf. Okay, it goes under the leaf and starts munching inside the leaf like Pac-Man. It makes these trails, which curls the leaf. It makes the leaf really ugly, and you leave all these trail marks from the leaf miner worm. And then when it finishes its job, when it finishes eating, it develops, it cocoons or something, it develops wings, and breaks through and flies away. And the whole cycle starts all over and decimates the citrus tree. It makes it look like crap. And in order to kill that, to prevent that, you have to spray with something called Avid or Ardent, which is the generic version of Avid. And that's really expensive, but it does the job. And then aside from insects, they get scabs like avocados do, which it's just fungus. So you have to spray with copper as well. So we was on a monthly basis spray our citrus trees like crazy in order for them to look presentable, okay? And on top of that, the climate here in South Florida, not Central Florida, South Florida, is too warm. So we don't get those beautifully colored oranges that are actually orange. We'll get like greenish,
Right.
oranges.
Yeah.
Very ugly, but good tasting.
Delicious.
Nothing wrong with it. It's just the appearance. So South Florida is not the mecca of citrus, unfortunately, but it can be grown. Every variety you can imagine, but there's a price to pay.
Before Irma, I had a row on my northern fence line of limes, but with thorns. But most of the year it produced, and I could go out and get hundreds of little tiny limes and come in and either make limeade or popsicles or what have you, but my hands would be on fire because you get the thorns and now you're squeezing lime juice, and then Irma knocked down all the trees and only one survived. Yeah.
Well, I got two things to say about citrus. One of them is their University of Florida have come out with a new leader minor, they say resistant, the honeybell orange. There's a new variety of it. I believe it's a honeybell.
Yeah.
And they say it's not 100% resistant, but supposedly you're gonna do better off with it. I just uploaded a video about that. And the other thing I wanna say is there's many different varieties of finger lime. And finger lime has super small leaves. And the newer varieties have super small leaves that are too small for the leaf miner. So if you wanna get lemon lime flavored produce, you can plant a finger lime, and they seem to have great success here in South Florida with little work. So so there's definitely recommend that if you want that.
I got some.
And they're delicious.
Yeah, I went to Truck and I got some Budwood of their best finger lime varieties, and I grafted it on citrus microphylla, which is the best citrus for lemon types of citrus, like lime and lemons. The best rootstock is citrus microphylla. And I grafted them, and they're growing beautifully, and I'm gonna plant them around my house. And not sell them. I don't think I can sell finger limes, even though they don't carry any disease like regular citrus, but they do have to, there are some regulations behind it. So I wouldn't be able to sell that, unfortunately. But for my own personal use, oh yeah, I'm gonna plant. I have two varieties. I have one that tastes like Sprite 7-Up.
No.
Yeah, and another one that tastes
Wow.
like a ruby red grapefruit, like a
Yeah,
sweet
that's
grapefruit.
they have the sun and they have the red.
Yeah, like a sun-kissed. It's like a yellow skin and then the red skin.
Well, and you just touched on another
Like
issue
lemonade.
that's made citrus difficult too. Like even when I first moved here in the mid-90s, I saw a lot of orange trees, a lot of lime trees, and you don't see them as much now, but also a lot of the nurseries don't grow them because there's so much regulation around it now. And it's a pain in the ass.
Well, you can grow the fruit and sell the fruit just fine without any red tape, but getting the trees, and plus
That's what I'm saying, like,
another thing,
yeah.
they don't use citrus microphylla for their Persian limes or their Tahiti limes in Central Florida. They use another rootstock.
For rootstock, you mean? Oh, okay.
Rootstock over there in Central Florida was where they're all created. They're not created down here in South Florida. You need $1 million greenhouse in order to graft citrus in Florida. And the only ones that have it are the nurseries in Central Florida. And Dade County is a no citrus grafting zone. And Broward and the Keys, no citrus grafting zone. for any nursery, even if you have the greenhouse.
Yeah.
Now in Central Florida, they graft, but with the wrong rootstock for us here in South Florida. So unfortunately, the citruses that you're buying at Home Depot don't have the rootstocks that are, optimal for South Florida.
Do either
So
one
we-
of you sell citrus?
No.
Can I mention a nursery that does?
Absolutely.
Okay. Love Nursery in Loxahatchee, Florida.
Yeah.
They have a pretty good citrus collection,
Yeah.
and I just did a video with the lady there.
Yeah.
And she seems to be having good success.
That's good.
And we went into a detailed video. And I know some other nurseries that might sell it, but they have a really good variety.
A lot of my old timer friends, the avocado farmers, a lot of them are retiring now and stuff like that. A lot of those guys were lime farmers, and then Andrew came and they didn't bother replanting lime because avocado started taking off, and they planted avocado instead, which is a cool piece of
That's
history.
what happened to everything. Here in the Redlands, I mean, Brooks Packing House, that place they have over there, it was all Persian lime or Tahiti
Yeah.
lime. Tahiti lime and Persian lime is the same thing. It's that seedless lime.
And it's like
that everybody's
it's a bigger
has in their
round
super-
lime,
right, right.
It's round. It doesn't
Right.
have that egg shape to it.
Right,
Okay,
right. That's the one they sell at the bars because it has no seed. And bartenders don't have time,
Oh,
picking seeds out.
okay.
So this is the one that's used nationally. There's a huge amount of these lemons growing throughout the world. But here in Homestead, we used to supply a large portion of the market. But all that was taken away after the hurricane. I mean, they blew away like tumbleweeds because there were air layers.
Yeah.
And they weren't grafted.
Oh, they didn't have a tap root, and they weren't
No,
in the
they
ground.
got
Okay.
They blew away. So yes, it got replaced by
Yeah,
avocados.
yeah.
Quick.
Question here from Mustafa. Can choquette avocados grow in the same condition as other avocados? And the examples he cites are like Fuerte and Haas, so I'm assuming he's from California.
In the cold, 32 degrees Fahrenheit is the limit for these West Indian avocados, which are tropical avocados. Tropical fruits need tropical weather. So 32 degrees Fahrenheit, anything below that, you're gonna have to take measures to protect the tree. Now, what does that mean? Make a little structure around the tree out of wood, get some wood together, laying around, make a little structure and staple some plastic around it if it gets into the low 30s. And if it's not warm enough in there, get a little chicken lamp for eggs or something and that'll warm it up. But as soon as the sun comes up and it warms up again, take all that stuff down because it'll cook your tree.
Yeah. I'm getting a little hungry.
Okay.
Can we eat a little Marcus pumpkin here?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that okay?
yeah.
Or should we save that for last?
No.
We'll compare it to the Catalina, actually.
Okay.
Paul, I'm biased. I tried the Marcus pumpkin.
You sold on the Marcus Pumpkin.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I had some Marcus pumpkin that I took with me on my trip.
Uh-huh.
And I also had the hurricane knock down a bunch of Oro Negros that
Yeah.
is early, and I didn't think it would
still good.
they'd be good. And Oro Negro is the only avocado I could say early it tastes just as good as it does late. It's absolutely
I haven't
amazing.
tried it yet.
I didn't
And
leave one here the other day?
it came down.
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened.
The Marcus pumpkin was nice, but compared to the Oro Negro, nothing comes close to the Oro Negro in my opinion. Now this is very creamy. Yeah.
Also easy peel, but a bit of a more brittle skin, more so than the
more
Catalina
West
that we just
Indian
did.
trait.
Yeah.
Same
More-
exact color.
yeah.
You would not.
Yeah.
Color-wise, the same exact.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's right.
Uh,
All right, here we go.
yeah.
Cheers.
Mm.
Grassy. Oh yeah, get that
Nice.
sweetness.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm.
That's nice and sweet.
See, that reminds me of the 70s.
That's what you were eating back then?
Yeah.
I never even tried a damn avocado till I was a senior in high school in 1989.
This tastes like a
Me too.
premature,
That was my year.
Never even heard of them, up there.
like a Simmons.
That was
Yeah.
my year as well.
There's a comment here, which I'm very happy. Growing rare
It's
food.
really good.
And it's really good. I'm telling you, Julie. I came in and I texted both you guys. I was like, I tried the Marcus pumpkin. I had a similar reaction to when I tried the Apme. Blown away. Blown away. by
It has a
this variety.
sweetness to it,
Yeah.
unlike the Catalina, but Catalina is excellent as well.
Yeah.
With no sweetness.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's real. I wish it was a more common variety. I'd love to sell it. I'd love to, but I couldn't do it. Okay, growing rare fruit, and this comment makes me really happy. He compared Reed avocados, him and his friends, to the Miguel, and they like the Miguel over the Reed. And Paul, I know you've been asking about the Reed. Have you had a chance to try a Reed?
The reason I ask is I've had Reed avocados many times in California.
Okay.
And until I started tasting some of these flawed varieties, it was my favorite
Now
variety.
the Reed in California,
Yeah.
or do they look like this or they're small?
They look like that, but they're bigger. They're very big. They're
And
super
big?
almost perfectly
super
round,
big.
right? They're like a
Perfectly
ball
round,
shape.
big, just as big as the Marcus Pumpkin, and far better than a Miguel.
It looks just
Far
like a
better than
Monroe.
Well, this guy liked the Miguel better. And the reason I'm happy about the comment is I started leasing a property that has a few rows of Miguel. And I'll tell you what, I love growing the Miguel. My customers love them. The fruit is so pretty and nice. They last, they ship well. And I had people well into September requesting Miguel. It's just something very different and unique compared to other types of avocado they've had. But god dang, this is good. You know what, can I get another slice?
Sure.
Very rarely in these tastings do I ask for another slice.
Yeah, it's
Because
a-
I'm trying to save room.
It's pretty unique.
This is worth it. This
And I
is
do
good.
have these trees for sale on my website, LarryFarmsMiami.com, in a 1 gallon pot.
Yeah.
And the thing is $45.
Another one that's sweet, that's coming into season now, that a lot of people like. It has a bigger seed, but Lula.
Oh, Lula's.
That
My-
is a sweet-
that's in my
that has
top
a
five. I
sweet-
love
that
it.
has a sweetness.
Probably my number. I guess if I had to rank them, I'm still saying Lula's my number one. But in my top five is Lula, May, Marcus Pumpkin, Brogdon, Simmons. But I love that Lula. I was so sad when my tree died.
Your
God,
wine
it was
still
horrible.
hasn't dropped any fruit, right?
No, not yet.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Oh, Frosty's here. Frosty, how you doing, buddy?
Look at that seed to flesh ratio.
Insane. That was another thing. I had some haters attacking me saying, yeah, but you cut open an avocado like that, it's all seed. No, not the Marcus Pumpkin. Not the Mark. Now look at this Catalina has a pretty dang huge seed,
Yeah.
but it's a huge fruit also. So you're still getting a lot of flesh. And that seed is torpedo shaped. It's conical.
Yeah.
Look at that beast. Look at the size of that seed.
Yeah.
You know.
Humongous.
Yeah.
But still, there's a lot of food in there.
Yeah. Now the Lula, terrible seed to flesh ratio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the flesh is so good, it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, and Walden too.
I've yet to
Brogdon is
try
the
it.
worst.
I've yet
seed.
to-
Brogdon, yeah.
Brogdon has a lot of seed.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
It's,
So
I
little
just
flesh.
love it. I love it. Frosty from Vermont is here, and he's saying he's got to take his bananas inside. Of course you do. It's like 10 degrees up there now. Frosty grows a lot of tropical stuff up where he is in Vermont.
Oh, that's why he's frosty.
He's Frosty, yeah, and he makes beautiful videos. He stopped making his videos, but he goes out. He'll have cows in the background, beautiful mountainside he lives on. Looks like he lives like in an old New England home up there, you know. Frosty, you got to make more videos, man. He loves the Happy Frog soil. Growing Together Nursery wishes finger lines were thornless.
Oh yeah, they're thorny as hell.
He said he donates a lot of blood when he's out in the garden.
Oh,
Cupcake
man.
was gone, now she's back. Rockaways wants to know, Paul, don't you mean Jack and the Beanstalk Nursery in West Palm Beach for citrus?
Oh yes. Oh, okay. Jack and the Beanstalk Nursery. That's what I mean. I just did a video with them. Thank you for correcting.
Oh wow,
me.
so they caught it.
Yes,
That's cool.
Thank you. Thank
okay.
you. Jack and the Beanstalk Nursery in Loxahatchee, Florida. They're the place to get citrus trees. They have a tremendous variety. Thank you for correcting me.
Good catch. Yeah, Frosty says lowest temperature tropicals can take is 32. You ain't gonna see 32 till April, bro. Up there in Vermont, it's gonna be in the 20s and below for the next 6 months.
Ouch.
It's cold where he is. We went skiing up there 2 years ago. Well, I didn't ski, my son did. I used to ski, but I have a bad leg. Growing rare fruit, has all kinds of limes and lemons. Okay, so he's got a lot going out there in Paso Robles. Yeah, Frosty, it got down to 28. You got to watch your stuff. Vagard Nossum. Do these huge seeds take a long time to germinate?
Done. Take about a couple of weeks.
OC Neal is, yeah, avocado seeds want to grow. They're not fussy. They're not tricky. Put them in dirt. You don't have to bother with toothpicks and water.
Yeah, you could do the toothpick thing, or you can just put it in a 1 gallon pot.
Yep,
I
1 gallon.
I put them in a seed bed.
I've seen, yeah, you got little tables.
Yeah.
Yeah. OC O'Neill wants, why don't we all repeat our top five or, you know, whatever. My top five would be Lula, Marcus Pumpkin, Brogdon, Simmons, and Atme of avocado. Go ahead, Julian.
I would say in the order of the season, I'll say the first one would be Atme, Simmons, and then after Simmons, I'll take either Improved Pollock or a Miguel or a Haas. One of those three.
Haas is good too.
Okay. Oh no, I'm sorry, not Haas. Hall.
Hall is
What am I saying?
delicious.
What am I
Hall
saying?
is delicious.
Okay, and so so that will be in the fall, and then in the winter, which would be, let's say, December and beyond, would be Kampong, Ronnie, or Choquette.
Okay. Choquette's one of my wife's favorite.
But Monroe is really good for like a early winter variety. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, well, I'd say early season, I'd say the Atme. For the next season, I'd say Simmons.
Yeah.
And also, that other one's good for early.
Dupuy.
Dupuy, yes, that's exactly.
Yeah,
Dupuy and Simmons are nice.
Yeah.
And then I would definitely
For the fall, it will be yours. Would be Oro Negro.
Oro Negro, 100%.
All the way for you.
I'm
100%.
dying to try one.
And Maria Black's a good mid-season. Improved Pollock
Improved Pollock.
is excellent. So yeah.
Yeah. So here's what happened to the Oro Negro you gave me. Julian gave me an Oro Negro.
Oh yeah, what happened?
It's black. Negro, right? So it was sitting on the counter. My wife thought it was old.
Oh.
Like she thought it was a green avocado that turned black.
Right, the oxidized.
Threw it away. Gave it to the chickens.
Oh.
She gives everything to them goddamn
There's
chickens.
some happy chickens.
Listen, me and my son have to like watch her now because as soon as we don't eat something, right to the chickens it goes.
Now, how the eggs look? You get eggs from these chickens?
Tons and tons of eggs. They're beautiful.
And
Yeah.
what color are they? Nice and bright inside.
Depends on the chicken. Oh, the yolks are
nice and red.
like a dark, like an orange, like a blood
Wow.
orange. You know what I mean? And then the eggs themselves depend on the variety of
Free
chicken.
range.
We've got everything from like actual hens
Pasture
that have been
raised.
bred to make eggs
Right.
to like street chickens from Florida City that's coming, you know, hood chickens, you
right.
know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they lay these little tiny little white
Those are quail.
eggs. They're like that's what they're like, yeah. And and then we get purple ones and spotted ones, and so
Wow, it's
yeah,
like Easter.
yeah, and then it's very much like Easter. 'Cause-
Pasture raised chickens are, like they make Easter eggs.
Yeah, well, and then they'll lay in the same place for about 2 months, and then they find a new nest. So we have to spy on them and watch when they disappear for a little bit, and that's how we know where they're laying.
Oh.
We got to follow.
Well, you got to
them
put
around.
one of those GPS necklaces.
Well, what I need to do is, and I'm going to do it next month, is just build a coop with laying platforms,
Gotcha,
and then
gotcha.
they'll lay there. Julian, is the Viejo Mame a smaller, less vigorous tree?
Yes.
And okay, can he plant it 6 feet from his house?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely, no problem. Even Magana, you can plant next to your house.
Kyle Decker, Paul. He lives in Orlando. He has Mexicola Grande, Brogdon, and Oro Negro. He wants to harvest avocados from July through January. Is there anything he should add to expand the time frame?
In Orlando, I don't know about the cold tolerant avocados. Julian would know that one better.
I mean, they're all
they-
these avocados, for example, on my list, they all can take 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
yeah,
That's
it
it.
gets colder there.
Well, then that would be the day avocado.
Day avocado, definitely day avocado. So what were the avocados you mentioned, Tom?
Mexicola Grande, Brogdon, and Oro Negro.
Brogdon's mid-season, right? So Mexico. I mean, well, the Atme, that won't do. No.
32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Maybe some of the Haas varieties.
Yeah, I guess. That's a Guatemalan. I guess you're
The best thing to
Mexicola.
do, here's the bet, if you're in Orlando, go to Nick's Edibles. He knows the avocado seasons up there, and he knows what's going to be best, and I'll have those trees for sale as well. So he's in Orlando, Nick's Edibles, and he's the guy to contact for that area.
Yeah, I know. I've met.
Yeah.
He's come to see me a few times. He's a good guy. Yeah, I mean, if anybody would know, it'd be him, because he's there.
Yeah, and he's growing stuff, and,
And
he
he's growing
knows.
stuff.
He knows really well.
Georgia Gardner is asking me, Sleepy Lizard, what avocados am I shipping now? We'll be picking at guacfarm.com if you want to buy a box. Guacfarm.com, GUACFARM.com, and I am pushing my website pretty heavy because we're very much into our season now, and Daddy needs a picking machine, and they ain't cheap. And so I need to sell a lot of avocados. We've been doing choquette for the past month, and we're just starting into Monroe now. So if you order from me at guacfarm.com, you're either gonna get choquette or Monroe, and you're almost certain to get one or the other. I don't mix because we don't pick multiple varieties at the same time. I go out in the morning, pick, a row of a certain variety, come in, fill the boxes, ship them. The next day I go out and pick. I might pick the same variety or I might pick a different one. It just depends on Mother Nature. They plump up. So you pick the biggest ones and you leave the smaller ones on the tree and you go to the next tree. Then when you come out the next week or 2 weeks later, the ones that were a little smaller have plumped up. So if I do a bunch of choquette one day, next day I might do the Monroe. And I very rarely have a mix, and that's at guacfarm.com. Now, Julian tends to have more of a mix because of the nature of his business.
Right.
He's got a lot of variety, so you can tell them what you're shipping now, Julian.
Right. Well, I don't remember right now off the top of my head what I'm shipping, but Ronnie's and Campong will be ready soon, probably beginning of next year, and maybe a little bit earlier if they're like dripping already from the tree, off the tree. But right now, I think I got Hall and and some Taylors and what else? I may have some Bumpy Cotto. I have a few on the tree. I have a good amount on the tree.
Hall are so good.
Yeah, Hall's
Hall
amazing.
are so good.
What do you think about trying this Bumpy Cotto now?
Oh, I'm ready.
It's the first time I'm gonna
My
try
only
this.
regret is that I set the bar so high with the Marcus Pumpkin. I should have left it for
I
last.
have a feeling this is gonna be like Oro Negro.
Let's do
We'll
it.
see, but I want everybody to understand, as good as these are, in my opinion, as good as these both are, the Catalina and the Marcus Pumpkin,
Yeah.
I don't think they come close to some of the varieties we tasted last time with all those different varieties.
That was a good day.
That
was a
these,
good
these
day.
are great for this season,
Yeah.
but some of those were so exceptional.
Yeah.
The Atme and the Laura Red, and some of those, and the Russell, and those. I mean,
Laura
if
Purple.
you had Laura Purple, now it's a different season, but if I had to put this or even the Marcus Pumpkin next to those,
It'll be hard.
these
Yeah.
no, I don't think it would be hard. These I don't think these come close to those.
Yeah, the
But-
thing is, there's more variety in the early season
Yeah.
than there is in the
There
mid
is.
and late. There's a ton of
Well,
varieties. in
no,
there.
we don't want to grow the late season varieties because we have to survive hurricane season. I'd rather have all my avocados sold by August.
Yeah, but you got. What if nothing comes? I mean, the hurricanes
That's what I'm saying.
sparingly go through here.
You're
sparingly.
mitigating risk. You can sell all your shit by August
Yeah.
and be safe from hurricanes, but then you get a lower price if you want to run the risk and get a little bit of
And
a higher
also,
price.
if you're like me, that's a home gardener, you want to have variety of your food.
Well, but if you're a home gardener, you're not investing hundreds of
Sure.
thousands of dollars.
Sure.
You know what I
Sure.
mean? And that's why you don't see as many late varieties
Wow.
because the farmers don't want. Plus, your
crazy
cost basis is higher too because you're caring for the fruit a lot longer. Oh my God, that looks like a rainbow. There's like layers of color.
Whoa. This is
No, it looks like an
looking.
ornate. I mean, it has the color of an ornate.
That is cool.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're
Whoa.
right when you said it might be like an ornate.
Look
it
at
looks
that.
dry.
Bro, like-
First of all, thickest skin I've ever seen
Yeah.
on an avocado.
Yeah,
thickest
that's pretty
skin
thick.
I've ever seen.
Whoa.
And then look at a nice thick, I don't know what you call that green layer.
It's just
Super thick.
Yeah, it's just like you can see the different variations of green to yellow.
That's good.
That's good.
That's good.
That's good.
Very good.
Whoa.
Yep. It's got a little kick like a
It's like an egg sunny side up.
it's got a kick. It's good.
But this is a bumpy Oro Negro with the green skin.
That's good. I put this more in the nutty rather than the sweet.
Super nutty.
Okay, super nutty, right?
Oh,
Super nutty. Walnut.
walnut.
I'm getting walnut big time.
I mean, look at
That
this.
is good.
Green to yellow
Yeah.
hue there. It's just beautiful.
And the
inside.
bumpiness, like, yeah, I always
Whoa.
thought a Hass was a bumpy.
Yeah.
Compared to this skin, it's not.
Oh man.
Question, guys.
That was nice.
Chip budding or tea budding? Or cleft graft for citrus?
Both.
Okay.
Tea budding, which is, you cut right here and then you cut right there and you lift up the flap and lift up this flap and you put in the bud right there in the middle. Or chipping is just doing a side veneer with a chip, boom, which is easier than lifting up flaps all day. And then cleft graft on the citrus works fine, but you're gonna have to use some buddy tape.
Yeah. 831 Avo, if we're ever thinking about expanding to California, Mexico, Colombia, or Peru, he wants to help us out. Thank you, 831 Avo. It's tough right now in agriculture because land has become so expensive, and that's not just a South Florida phenomenon, that's everywhere. And most
Well,
people...
California's real estate's going down with all the homeless and drugs on the floor and pooping on the floor.
There is a lot
How's
of...
that gonna go up in value?
Well, my point with it though is it's tough to buy farmland because you're still competing with development.
Well, there's another problem with drought over there in California where they don't let the water flow
Yeah.
in, or they flow all the fresh water into the Pacific.
Yeah. Yeah.
There used to
and
be a
so-
lake in the middle of California and it's gone.
Yeah.
Because they dump it into the ocean.
Yeah, but it's tough to get into
save a little
farming
fish.
Net new right now. You know, like imagine your property, what that would sell for now, and say it wasn't planted out. You know what I mean? The break even it'd be 40 years. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's just
Well,
hard.
farming is not going to give you the highest value for the land these days. It's going to be housing.
Yeah,
And the more immediate reply would be housing versus farming.
Yeah.
yep.
That's what they do down here. Whatever makes more money. In the beginning, it was selling avocado fruit. And then after that, it was making huge farms that sell ornamental plants. And now,
Yeah, during the housing boom.
now it's housing. It's making, knocking down these ornamental nurseries, these giant mammoth ornamental nurseries, and make it into homes.
Yep.
Well, it's understandable. I mean, everyone has a price.
Yeah,
and,
that's
if
right.
the price is right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, we all want to check.
Okay, here's two types of mame I never heard of. Vidal Redondo
Yeah, I got
and
that.
Sapadilla Especial.
Yeah, I got those.
Tell us about them. Are they precocious?
Precocious.
I don't even know what that means.
Precocious means there's
I know
a
what it
flower
means.
and fruit right away.
Okay, all right.
And I should know if I'm gonna say no, it's not precocious. But Aquil Especial might be a little bit more precocious than Cepeda Especial, which are two varieties from the Yucatan,
Okay,
brought back by our good friend Richard Campbell
okay,
and Gary Zill,
okay.
which is, two very respectable guys
Yeah.
in the ag world.
Vergerdnosum wants to know what's the lowest temperatures a newly germinated seedling can take avocado. That's obviously 32 degrees. I mean,
Yeah.
a mature cold tolerant can handle a few hours sub 32 overnight. And especially if you do things to mitigate it. And the tree itself will do things to mitigate those low temperatures. But a seedling with a narrow trunk, you're dead meat. They're gonna freeze. It's gonna freeze and die.
Well, the Egyptians would combat frost by making small canals in between the rows of their trees or their vegetables or whatever it is that they're growing, just so that when it gets below 32, the water will start steaming.
Yeah.
And that steam will raise the air temperature by a few degrees,
Yeah.
just enough to save them from total loss.
Yeah.
Because after the cold goes back, all that damaged stuff grows back.
Yeah, it's amazing the way microclimates work. And this was a trick they would use in Central Florida for citrus. You plant every other row in either a trough or a peak. So you have, half your crop is 2 foot higher than the other half.
Right.
Because it's not just about temperature, it's about dew point.
Yeah.
And dew point happens at a certain elevation. You get it changes from dew, or when it's sub 32, it changes to frost. So if you're below
That's right.
or above, you don't get the frost.
Yeah.
And so you could at least protect half your crop.
You got to pay attention to the dew point when
Yeah.
it comes to
Yeah.
frosting. When it's going to get into the low 30s, you have to pretty much wake up before the break of dawn, because maybe like at 4 in the morning to check the dew point, because the dew point is higher than the air temperature, then it's going to produce dew. It's going to produce that morning dew on the leaf. And if it's below 32 degrees,
That turns to ice.
that dew on the leaf and on the grass is going to turn to ice.
Yep. Yep.
And the only thing that will knock off that ice is the sprinklers.
Yep.
And the sprinkler water, if you have a well, okay, is warm.
Oh,
Man,
in the
it
60s.
feels so crazy.
yeah.
Touch that water coming out of the sprinkler and it's 32 degrees outside. You're like, oh, it's so nice
Yeah.
and warm. And it's coming from underwater. So that will raise the air temperature. That's our version, our high-tech version of what the Egyptians used to
Yeah.
do.
Well, not only that,
And steam will come out of the sprinklers.
it's coming out the sprinklers at about 25 psi, so it aerates. It turns to an aerosol, and that changes the dew point. That actually messes with the dew point
Yeah.
in the air.
Well, the water, plus another thing you want to do is start watering the day before so everything gets puddled. Not to leave it on all night, just during the day, puddle your whole property so you have a lot of puddles. And that puddles, just like the Egyptians used to do, used to raise a lot of steam.
Yeah.
And then between that and the sprinklers, you turn them on as soon as the dew point goes above the air temperature, you turn on your sprinklers in between the puddles and the warm water coming out, it's going to raise the air temperature.
And then while we're on the topic, another excellent thing to do to mitigate cold nights is to have as much organic material beneath your trees as possible. So whatever leaves, whatever branches
works too,
fall,
yeah.
let them lay. And if you drive around Homestead, you're gonna see groves that are visible from the road, oftentimes someone's yard. Those people tend not to really care about that sort of thing, and they want their yard to look pretty.
But you mow the lawn, and then whatever's under the tree stays under the tree.
Right, but a lot of people that you see driving around have nice clean yards with clean trees, but when you're in the real groves, the 50 acres, the 100-acre groves, they're like jungles, you know what I mean? Anything that falls is just deadfall down there, and we're just letting it rot, and we're letting it corrode, or corrode's probably the wrong
Well,
word.
it's a good ground cover for grass.
Right, it'll
all the
keep
leaves.
grass away, it'll
Yeah.
keep weeds low, but it also, that rotting process generates heat. And then that heat rises into your tree. So if the air temperature is 32, under your trees, it might be 34. So that's another thing. And so when whenever I'm on Facebook and I see someone, they planted this brand new tree and then they put a bunch of white pebbles around it, they're hurting themselves. Because, the pebbles aren't gonna help the tree grow. You know?
I got a question about
Yes,
this
sir.
topic. If
Yes.
somebody has one tree and they're in a colder environment and they want to help their tree if a cold front's coming in, I know like cow manure is like pretty warm. Would it be advisable to put that down?
Anything that's decomposing is going to create a little heat. But I think in a situation like that, your best defense is going to be to run the sprinklers all night long. When it's cold here, you just hear wum, 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 wum. You hear the diesels going all night long here. In fact, I just listen. And when I hear the big boys running the diesels, I just turn mine
Well, they
on.
turn them on at the crack of dawn, like at 4 in the morning.
We put them on even at midnight, run them all night.
The problem with that is that water hitting the leaf can turn into ice.
It's a risk.
The purpose of the sprinkler is to wash off the frozen dew off the leaf.
Well, it's a risk, like even in the strawberry fields, the ice will actually insulate the fruit. And so it's.
But for tropical fruits, a different story. You don't want ice growing on the leaf.
Yeah, it's a very complicated
My
thing.
dad made the mistake one year in turning on the sprinklers all night, and we got like icicles, little icicles covering the entire leaf of the mame.
Yeah.
They're all, they all got serious cell damage.
That's not gonna work.
So you have to do it on the crack of dawn if it's a tropical fruit, the crack of dawn to wash off the ice that's formed from the dew.
Yeah. OC Neal wants to know, does anyone sell scions for mango to Southern California? I do not.
I have a
Oh
list.
wait, I do, but they're not, I sell the run-of-the-mill
Yeah,
ones.
I have a list on my website, larafarmsmiami.com. You scroll down where it says lost and forgotten varieties of mango budwood. You click on that and the page opens, and you'll see the list that I have for mango budwood, and that's the only list I have.
Yeah, and I'm authorized to sell budwood to California for mango, but I can't send them mangoes.
Yeah, I can send
The
them mangoes,
regulations.
and they're dying. The people in California are dying for a
They
mango.
can't- yeah, I know.
I actually made a mistake. It wasn't a mistake, but somebody ordered a box for me of mangoes.
They caught
And they
it?
were in California.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. And
Right.
I sent it, and they got it fine.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they'll slip through.
They got it fine, but I didn't think about like, hey, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this.
Yeah, well, see, I'm like, this is my business and I'm registered,
Yeah.
and California is the 5th or 6th largest economy in the world, so I don't want to piss them off over there.
Right.
And I'm registered with them, so they will. I send these, UPS boxes. They'll interdict my shipments every now and then, but they call me and tell me, and then they send it the rest of the way, and I've never had any problems. with them.
California has the economy of Russia.
Yeah, it's a huge economy.
Well, if you can't get from the big guys here, when the season comes,
Oh, you won't get in trouble.
contact me. I'll have a small amount I'll ship to California.
Well, not only that, Paul, you got the specialty varieties of the mango.
Oh,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Paul's got some really good mango varieties.
You guys know what this is?
I know what it is, but
Oh yeah.
go ahead and down in the comments
Matter
first.
of fact, today I just I upped my tree because my tree was sideways.
Yeah.
And I posted it up of that.
So there's a hint,
It's grown
but
really well.
first one to guess what this fruit is gets a sleepy lizard hat. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, that is, my wife has to have some
So
of that.
good. So good.
Let me text
You
her.
know,
So good.
I love that.
we'll wait until to your
Let the people guess.
viewers guess what this is before I start talking about it.
All right.
Best smell.
It's
the only fruit I know that smells better than that is a pineapple guava.
The only thing that smells better than that is a girl who just got out of the shower.
I said fruit. Okay.
Oh, okay, who got it? Well, okay. We have to go to the judges because the answer is correct that it's Mame Americana. Now, Alexi Rodriguez took it
Oh,
a
yeah.
step further
Yeah.
and guessed the variety.
Wow, because Alexi's an expert. I know who Alexi is.
So what variety?
Tesoro.
He got it.
Alexi's
You
a
went
man.
more specific. Now in Jeopardy, they always say just give the last name, right? Don't go, but you went extra,
Yeah.
and you got it. So Alexi, send me your, send me your info, and I'll send you a hat. And here comes my wife. You know what that is? Come on, get around. Come on over
It
here.
just looks
Smell
like-
that.
it
Oh
looks-
my god, it looks like a
Looks like a flower.
it looks like a flower. Oh
Smell
my
that.
god.
Smell.
Oh my god.
That's the best. So
Oh
tell them
my
about it,
God.
Julian. And Alexi, you win.
You know,
So send me an email. You want black, gray, blue, or a red hat?
Look, I had a customer bring me Mame Americana from his tree, from a seedling that he planted, and the thing was bigger than this. It was massive.
Wow.
It was massive, and it had a little seed like this. It was like this
Oh.
big, massive. So I was really impressed, okay? So I went to go open it, and it was dark orange in color. It was just phenomenal looking color, and I went to eat it, no flavor.
Oh, really?
No flavor at all.
Dang.
Bland. And it couldn't have been more perfectly ripe. So I said, God, it must have been a fluke. Bring me some more, please. And you brought me like 3 or 4 more. Massive. I'm like, are they always like this? He goes, yes, they're all big like this. Whoa, I really hope this tastes good.
Yeah.
Took a bite, bland. So
And-
disappointing.
Yeah.
I had an amazing one up in West Palm.
The one from the research center, from where we did the mango festival.
No. Well, that was one too. I don't know where they got it, but it was amazing. And
So it goes to show you, you plant the seed of this, and it can come out flavorless. And there was everything, there was nothing to not like about it, except when you ate it.
Yeah.
So that was a big shame. So it goes to show you, these varieties that are super sweet, they really are a treasure. Like the
They
name
really are.
Tesoro.
They really are.
Tesoro
Well, that's
is a
why
treasure.
when a guy like Julian brings a new variety, thank you, Noe. Oh, you want a piece of this? Mame Americana? Of course you do. Come on. You got to eat it for the camera, Noe.
She should do reaction.
Her
videos.
fruit eating reaction vids get a lot of clicks.
So I know this has 2 seeds already, so I'm gonna cut it down the middle because I know I can do that.
And Paul,
yep.
this is something you're it's very important to you. Julian just mentioned he tried a fruit and found it to be not as good as he thought it would. So what did he do? He tried it again.
Exactly.
Tell our viewers why we do
Whenever
that.
you try a fruit, whether it's a seedling or not,
That one?
try it at least 2, maybe even 3 times before you come to a judgment about it. Because
Wow.
the first bite, it could have been just like there could have been so many reasons why it didn't taste good. So try it a couple of times, and on a
Thank you,
different
Julian.
day it may taste better.
I'm so glad you brought this. I love this fruit.
Wow, this is amazing.
And this is the Tesoro variety. We have a tree, and we're gonna have the holes drilled because now we got that new space to plant. And then what
And
was
this
the other
is-
one? Fairchild? Do you have a
Fairchild and Redland.
You gave me. Oh, I can't remember which one, but the pots are labeled.
And this is not even ripe all the way.
It's so good.
This still needed
So good.
a couple of more weeks on the tree.
This is delicious. It's like apricot, and it's somewhere between a ripe apricot, and a dried apricot.
You know what it reminds me
It's
of?
not totally dry. What's that, Paul?
Starburst candy.
It does. It does. It definitely has that starburst. You're absolutely right. You want more?
For Laura.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Take it.
The whole thing?
Oh, that's good.
You're the best. You're
You
the
need a
best.
knife to cut it.
Okay.
Let me just bite it like apple.
Yeah, it's hard, and if you didn't know, you would think it's not fully ripe if you didn't know how to eat it.
To eat
because
it.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's almost like a dried fruit almost, but
Yeah, you're right, Paul.
there's no liquid to it at all.
No.
As a matter of fact,
It's juicy, but it doesn't drip.
I know someone who had a tree, and they
Or
said
juicy fruit,
for
yeah.
years it would fall out of the tree, and they thought, well, it's bad now. It fell out of the tree, and then they realized years later that's when it's ripe,
That's when
when
you
it
pick
falls
it.
out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it would be hard to pick. I planted these. If you have a small house with a lot of walk-by traffic and people take stuff, I planted mine in front of my house. I got two right in front of my house because on the street, because very few people are gonna, if this falls on the floor, they're gonna open this up and think this isn't good.
It does look like an inedible giant seed pod or something. You know what this would be good? Is if you cut it into little cubes and put it in a salad.
Sure.
It has that crunch, it has that sweetness.
Now, next time I come here,
Yeah.
we're gonna do a pastelito with this.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, tell them what a pastelito is.
It's like a pastry.
That's something you gotta pretty much be from Miami to know.
Yeah, un pastelito de guayaba, which is something that everybody knows. Being American or
Yeah.
Hispanic or black or white, whatever, we
If
all
you're
know.
in Miami.
If you're in Miami, you know what pastelito de guayaba is, which is a guava pastry. It's so popular that even McDonald's made a version of their apple pie with guava and cheese and cream cheese.
Yeah, you
I have
can
a
get them
question
con
about this.
queso
Yeah.
or just guava.
Or just
I have a
guava.
question about this.
Yeah.
The Redlands variety and this Tesoro variety,
Right.
same season or a little different?
Summer.
Summer.
Summer to fall.
Okay, another thing for people to know. The Tesoro variety, well, do you think they taste the same? Redlands and this? Okay.
Yeah.
They taste the same. The
But
only
it's not
difference
Freestone.
is Freestone.
Yeah.
Explain that, because that makes...
Yeah, see how easily the flesh comes off the seed of this fruit. It's kind of like a rambutan. You know, some of them are stuck to the flesh and some of them are loose from the flesh. This one is very loose from the flesh, opposed to the ones from the Fruit and Spice Park, which is the one that we call Redland, and the one they call Fairchild from Fairchild Garden, which the seed is literally fused to the flesh. And this one is not. This one is free from the flesh, which is very unique in the Mame Americana world.
So when you say like fused to the flesh, that's more like when you're eating a peach.
You
and
have to
you've gotta like
scrape,
gnaw
you have
around
to scrape,
yeah.
scrape the seed to get
Yeah,
the flesh
versus
off.
an avocado where the seed just pops right out.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. Okay, one clarification we need to make here, because there's some questions going back and forth between the commenters. When we say Mame Americana, we're not talking about Mame.
Mame Sapote.
They're two different fruits.
There's Mame Americana and Mame Sapote.
Yeah, and they're not even related.
No.
They're not similar. They don't grow the same way. They
This
don't
is
eat
often-
the same way.
This is often called Mame apple.
Yeah.
Mammy apple.
Mame.
Mammy apple.
And the
Mame.
word mame or mammy or mamea, well, mamea is Latin for mammaries,
Which are titties.
which are boobs.
Yeah.
Right? So when the Spanish came to the Americas, they went to the Dominican Republic where this is native to.
Yeah.
And they said, wow, look at this. It looks like boobs.
Titties hanging from a tree.
It looks like boobs.
Yeah.
And so they took it back to Europe. They took the flower and the fruit back to Europe so the botanists and the scientists over there in Europe can study it. And they name everything in Latin. And so they named it Mame Americana.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is Mame Americana. So the Spanish continued
Yeah.
to explore and they reached Central America. And they reached Central America, they found Mame Sapote. And when they saw that, they're like, wow, look at those mame.
Yeah.
That really looks like mame.
Yeah.
That thing even has a point and everything, like
I-
a boob.
Actually, I have a question.
And they called that, hey, that's the real
Yeah.
mame right there.
Which one do you think looks more like a boob?
Mame Sapote.
Mame, hands down.
Hands down. Look
It
at the Magaña. Look
they
at Key
hang,
West.
especially when they come out in pair.
Like a nice C cup.
Yeah, they just hang there, ready to just Hank, Hank.
I have a question about this. If somebody buys a tree, because he sells the tree, if somebody gets a 1 gallon tree from you,
Right.
how long before it's going to fruit?
That's gonna take a little bit longer than your average fruit tree, so we're looking at least 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
You can get fruit.
Start getting flower.
So I'll get flower.
But back to boobs. No, I'm only kidding. Paul.
But yeah, the mames are referred to as American boobs.
So anyways, OC Neil
The original American
and y'all who's going back and forth, when we're talking about Mame Americana, completely different fruit than Mame Sapote, which is, you got it on your shirt?
Sapotasia.
That's on, look at, that's Julian's claim to fame, that's his specialty.
Yep, yep. Yeah, you can get this shirt at LairFarmsMamby.com if you're into it. This is, you know, it's a shirt to go out, you know, to go to the movies, go to dinner. It's not a really a promotion thing for Lair Farms. This is a thing to, like, you know, to look nice.
So getting back to that from a health standpoint, food usually looks like what it's good for. Carrots are good for the eyes, and if you cut a carrot, it looks like 2 eyes.
Yes.
Celery is good for the bones. Walnuts are good for the lungs and the brain.
brain.
So, is there any understanding? Is either one of these good for women's breast health?
Well, for skin and hair and brain health, avocados. I mean, anything with oil.
Well,
in it.
avocados are great for the womb, and if you realize that it looks like a baby in a womb,
Yeah.
so it's pretty cool.
Well, the baby is the seed, and the womb
Sure.
is the fruit.
And the other thing is the mame actually looks like Mame Sapote looks like another female body part of a woman.
Yeah, it does.
So is
When you
there
cut it a certain way, it
any
looks-
signs that that's healthy for that
Well, I would think
or any
in
understanding
general.
of that? Because I don't know the exact.
In general,
benefits of it.
I think you know it has a lot of vitamins, every vitamin and every mineral that's inside the sun. These fruits have, like, especially when they have color. The color is a sign of antioxidants.
Red is always healthy for the
Yeah.
body.
Bright colors like, you know, purple, blue, red, that's an indicator of antioxidants. Now, yellow could be an indicator, and white of oil. I mean, because ackee has a lot of oil.
No, I didn't know that.
Ackee tastes like avocado. It has like an avocado aftertaste, or what was that other aftertaste you described?
Asparagus from the
Asparagus,
hockey. I got a little, I did, I mean, I know taste could be subjective.
Yeah.
But I get a little asparagus from it.
I agree with the asparagus. I've never thought about it.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much sweeter it gets when it's frozen and thawed out. It literally tastes like sweet cheese.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll have to, okay,
Yeah,
well
it's
now
Like
that,
this?
The ackee.
I mean, this is another fruit you guys turned me on to.
I
you
have
know?
friends in Jamaica. What they do is they take it out of
Yeah.
they take the seed out, they shell it, they put it in Ziploc bags,
Yeah.
and they freeze it.
Yeah.
And somehow they get it back to the United States.
Let me
to
get
their
the frozen
relatives.
mame.
It tastes amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
I could tell everybody right now the best fruit frozen, 100% without a doubt. And Julian, you're about to sell out if you didn't already. 100% without a doubt, the best frozen fruit in the world is white sapote.
Never tried it frozen.
White sapote is
Never tried it frozen.
absolutely, hands down, that we can get. Durian might beat it, but
You mean frozen and then thawed? Or literally to eat it right out of the freezer?
well, it's too hard. It's like a rock.
Okay.
When it thaws out,
Really?
it's absolutely vanilla ice cream.
Because you had me try a few right off the tree at your
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Blew my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, delicious.
Besides, it's the most underrated fruit here in South Florida, and besides durian, it's just such a great fruit. Wow.
Well, Paul, you know, a lot of my viewers are also your viewers, but some people don't know you. So, you know, Julian had a chance to introduce himself and say, you know, how he's a tree grower. And of course, I'm a commercial fruit grower. What's your sort of passion? What do you bring to the table as a fruit guy? What is it that brings
Well, I'm
you?
a sustainer. I want to live on the food I grow, and that's it. I eat only fruits and vegetables with a few nuts and seeds, but I've been doing that. Some people call it a raw food vegan, but I want to make sure that I can grow as much of my food as possible. I'm into gardening as well, but the fruits, I don't want to have a whole yard avocados are a whole yard of mangoes. I want good variety, so I have fruit throughout the whole year. And that's what I do, fruitful trees.
Yeah. And Paul, you've never steered me wrong with anything. Any food you've ever given me has been delicious.
You haven't even begun to touch the iceberg of the amazing things that I'm going to give you as I
All right.
get to
All
visit
right.
you here more.
I love it. I love
Amazing,
it.
amazing. So I'm so busy talking about fruit trees and making videos, I don't have time to shave.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul don't shave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely amazing the things I learn and the mistakes that I see people make that I've made.
Yes.
And in my videos, I try to tell people, look, don't do that. Look, if you got a tight space, get a dwarf tree. Don't get like a liche or a longan tree,
Right.
or a liche and a longan tree because it's gonna shade up your whole yard.
Especially longan. They are they're thick. They're
Yeah,
dense.
and so I tell
Longan
people
makes
that,
a good privacy tree.
Yeah, and people are like, well, I'll make it work, and I'm like, okay,
Well, Paul, I want to shift to a new topic,
sure.
and it's one that we've seen recently. And I'm sure you mentioned about seeing people making mistakes. So we just had Hurricane Helene threatening Florida and hitting a slice of Florida. Then we had, what was the other one? Hurricane, I forget the name already. Milton hit Florida. And you and I are on a lot of the same forums and Facebook pages and stuff like that. And I was aghast at some of the mistakes people were making as far as prepping their trees for the oncoming windstorm. And I mean, look, I'm not one of these guys that's going to be going online telling people what to do, right? But one of the biggest mistakes I saw people making, this is with regards to keeping your trees safe with a windstorm coming, hurricane,
Milton?
tropical storm, Milton, Helene. One of the biggest mistakes I saw people make, they were securing their trees to their fence.
Oh,
The fence is one of the first things to go.
I was about to say that.
You might as well secure your tree to a parachute because and granted, a lot of people haven't been through a storm. You know, I remember in Hurricane Wilma, which was nothing and went by super fast for us down here, hit Boca Raton pretty hard. They were out of power for like 6-8 weeks. And there was a 4x8 sheet of plywood that blew by me, and I picked it up to move it. The wind yanked that thing out of my hand like a piece of paper. It hurt my fingers. And I realized if there had been like nails and that thing skinned down my arm, I'd have been bleeding.
Wow.
The power of this wind. There's really not much you can do to stop it. Another thing I saw people do, they'd put like 4 or 8 spikes around their tree and strap it. Well, what you're doing then is you're taking the tree's natural elasticity away. And where a tree might just bend or even lay down, now you have it all tied up, it's gonna snap on you instead, you know? And so I did see a lot of mistakes made. Now I saw some people do some smart things too, like if you can kind of, you know, guess at which direction the wind is coming from and, you know, park a truck over, you know, in front of a small tree, that little bit of windbreak is going to help. But I did see a lot of mistakes, and a big no-no for me is don't tie your tree to a fence. Your fence is going to blow down. It's going to take the tree with it. These trees have evolved, and they can flex and blow. And then Julian has a really good trick for when windstorms are coming. So Julian, why don't you tell them your trick?
I think one of the first videos I ever did with Paul, we touched on this.
Yep.
And it was, you know, he was like, wow, you know, these are such big trees that you have here. These Mame trees are so big, they're so tall. What do you do when there's a hurricane? Well, what I explained to him in detail in the video we did together, which was probably like, what, 3 years ago? Is I take a chainsaw and I cut halfway through with a chainsaw on the heaviest, thickest branch or trunk on the tree. So if the hurricane wants to finish the job and cut down the tree, it will knock down the tree above where I cut on the chainsaw, and then the tree will not get uprooted. Because that's the last thing you want to do is have your tree uprooted by a hurricane. because you didn't do anything. So what can you do? Cut the tree off. Okay, you can cut the tree off, but if the hurricane doesn't finish the
Misses
job, it misses you or it doesn't finish the job, it will heal and it'll keep on growing.
Yeah. And what Julian's talking about is upright, what'd you say? Up-
Well, the heaviest,
Little- what
the
was it?
heaviest branch on the tree, okay? The heaviest
Yeah.
branch or the heaviest trunk, or because the trunk can split, and then you can just cut the heaviest
Yeah.
one out of the two. Just cut it halfway
Now
through.
you're talking about trees that are super big.
Right.
So what?
20
what,
20 foot and
What
above.
what we'll do is if most people are growing with trees that, let's say, get the biggest you're gonna let your trees get is maybe 12 to 14 feet, and a hurricane comes.
Then you don't have to do anything.
But you can still cut the tree
You
below the size of your house. You can cut it, and that'll block it. If you know if the eye's coming towards you, like if it's not like a 4 coming at me.
Well,
don't do
that,
anything.
you ain't, a 4 or above it,
Yeah.
no matter what you do.
Yeah. it's
Well,
kinda-
no, but
Well, it'll help.
if you cut your trees.
Oh, that's different,
It's
but
hard.
I'm saying like,
It's hard to tip over a short tree, a
Yeah.
small tree. It's
Yeah.
it's a lot harder than it is a tall tree that's like a sailboat that will just tip over. Really easy.
ideally, if you could, if the timing is right, that you can get all the fruit off of it without wasting it, right? So in my case, Monroe's, we don't pick Monroe's until November. I'm dead meat. I can't clear them out in September with a hurricane coming because they're not gonna ripen properly. But if say I have some Catalinas left over, harvest them all, sell them, get rid of them, give them away, whatever you gotta do, eat them yourself. And that alone is gonna help your tree survive. And then once the fruit's off, you gotta prune it anyway. Do your pruning a little early, right? So that's another way you could mitigate the risk. Now, let's talk about after the hurricane blows through. So what Julian was talking about was tipping your tree over. When a tree blows down, it rips out from the root ball out. And you get these massive, it could be your height of root laying there and your tree's laying, right? You gotta cut that trunk anyway. So if you do what Julian says and it cracks at the top, you're ahead of the game because your roots are still in the ground versus half or 60 or 75% being ripped out.
No, it's standing it back up.
Then when you stand it up, you got to cut it to 6 foot anyhow, which would have happened with your technique.
Right.
But now you got all these roots that have broke, and they got to reconnect and get all in there. So that's
You got to cover it up with dirt.
you got to cover it with dirt. You got to get all the air voids out.
Some serious machinery
And,
involved.
and it's 2 years till you're producing. You miss this season and the next. Right? Okay. Now, the other thing, so the other problems I saw on Facebook and stuff with Hurricane Helene and Milton, people are standing up their trees without cutting them. So a tree gets blown down. Okay. You have a 15-foot tree, not even a monster, 15-foot tree. I cut trees. I spent all day Friday cutting a tree. The slightest breeze is caught by a tree. I mean, if you've ever been in a sailboat, you don't need a strong wind to move a sailboat really fast. If your tree's fallen down and half the roots aren't in the ground and you stand it back up, but you don't prune it first, you've got all them branches and leaves. You don't even need a thunderstorm. Just a slight afternoon breeze.
Knock it back
Gonna
down.
knock your tree right back down.
Yeah. You have to hold it up.
And even when you do that, that's hard to do. Because like Mother Nature is stronger than 2x4s and ratchet
Well, that's a
straps and
good
stuff
time
like
to
that.
stake it up. Like you don't want to do it before the hurricane because the tree could snap.
Exactly.
But afterwards,
After
that would be a good time.
you absolutely stake it once the root, when you stand it back up, right? But what I'm seeing a lot of people doing is they haven't pruned it, they haven't cut it. Now, you're not going to get away with that with a 20-foot tree because you'd need a crane to lift it back up, and it would fall right back down immediately. But I'm seeing people with even smaller trees, 8-foot, 12-foot, kind of trees, and they feel like, oh, I'm going to lose all this progress. You're not. Trees, they grow fast. Like once they're mature and in the ground, they grow back quick. And you're already losing this season if your tree got blown down. By next season, if it didn't blow down too much, you cut it, you might get some growth, you might get some fruit. Certainly by the next season, so this is 2024, certainly by 2026, you're back in business. As opposed to, you stand that 15-footer up, you stake it, you strap it, he's doing great for about a month, then a windstorm blows it right back down. All that root growth you've lost, and you're back to square one.
You know what trees can get blown over? uprooted, and they don't mind that you can stand it back up, no problem, and it'll keep on growing.
What?
Mangoes and custard apples.
I know mango, because I've had it happen.
Custard apple and mango. They
Hold on,
can-
we gotta get this for the camera. Frozen Mame. What variety, Julian?
This
Yeah.
is Key West.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I had a friend asking me, Rosie.
Well, yeah, Julian was there when she was asking.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
It's like ice cream.
It's so good. Yeah.
Wow.
Julian taught me this trick to.
Oh, tell her to try the Bumpy Cotto.
Oh yeah, try the Bumpicado.
Look at the bumpy skin.
Whoa.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here's the Bumpy Cotto. That one's ready tomorrow. But try this. This is like an Oro Negro.
Yeah. Oh, and did you try the Aki? Yeah, you tried that.
Yeah, I did. Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It has like a
Like a
wonderful-
walnut.
Can you get? Yeah, are you getting the walnut?
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't
This
it?
is- what-
It's
why?
amazing.
How? How does it taste like
Yeah.
that?
It's like a walnut, almond,
Yeah, very nutty.
or how's
Yeah.
April?
Doing amazing.
So
They're in the back.
you can go in.
In the bathroom. Go.
You can go in. So Julian, I interrupted you. Sorry about that. I always, the camera loves her fruit eating reactions. But you were saying about what is
Yeah.
it? Sapote and
Custard apple.
custard apple
Cherimoya.
and mango.
Yeah, they can fall over. They can get uprooted, and you just cut them back a little bit, because it's too heavy to lift back up.
Yeah.
But you can pretty much pluck these things out of the ground like carrots and stick them back in the ground anywhere, and they won't die. They'll die back a little bit. They'll go through some shock,
Stretch,
and
yeah.
then sprout back
Yeah.
into life.
Yeah, I found that with my avocados too. I stood up 60 avocado trees in Irma.
And
you wouldn't know
And
now.
you wouldn't know now. Yeah.
All that's left now is some rotten 2x4s that I hammered to shore them up. You know what I mean?
No, one tree that does not recover at all.
I know what you're gonna. Can I guess?
Yeah.
Citrus?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe not.
I'll tell you my experience with citrus, but go ahead.
But the one tree that does not recover from being stood back up after being uprooted is the Caimito star.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
Some of my trees got uprooted, and I stood it back up just like everything else, and they died.
Well, what I found with citrus is the root system is brittle. So it's like aluminum.
Well, it depends
You
if it
bend
was
it one
air layered
way.
or grafted.
Maybe that was the reason, but I find like avocado mango, there's flexibility. With citrus, it's like aluminum. You can bend a bar of aluminum, but when you bend it back, it snaps.
Yeah.
And I found that was happening. So I tried to leave them lay and hopefully the branches would grow straight up. I only had one survive. I had about a dozen knocked down. But which is fine because that gave me room for 2 Mames and a Sapadilla from Lara
That's
Farms.
the amazing thing about this is, it's the worst feeling to lose a tree, but then your first thing we think is like, what can we plant?
That's what happens.
I already have stuff ready to go if something
Yep.
is just,
Yeah, I got a southern blush in my collection. I'm gonna cut it down completely and graft it with something else.
yeah.
Probably put a white berry.
Oh yeah.
Southern Blush was probably the only time I've heard you low enthusiasm about a particular variety of mango.
Yeah, it's a pretty mango, but very low sugar.
It is bland. You
Yeah.
had me try one.
Yeah.
It's a little on the bland side, yeah.
It's like a diet mango.
Yeah. Oh, and Alexi Rodriguez makes a good point too. When you stand your tree back up and you've got all those extra branches, it's putting more demand on the root system too, which
Well,
is a good point.
Yeah, there's less root system to distribute water to all the branches and leaves.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're better off, helping the tree strip itself from all the extra work it doesn't need because of the lack of roots.
I mean, in summary, if there's a hurricane coming, don't try to outsmart the experts. We got millions of dollars riding on this. Do whatever you want. I don't care. You know what I mean? But
cutting it with a chainsaw halfway through the wood, it's a good way to get a lot of
you're
work
fine.
done.
You're fine.
You can do your whole problem. You can probably do this whole farm in like one day.
Yeah, in a day.
You're just cutting right
Yeah.
through the heaviest branch of the tree,
Yeah.
heaviest part of the tree, and just cutting right through.
Yeah.
Halfway. That's
Yeah.
it. And the hurricane will do the rest.
Mm-hmm.
If it snaps it, it's going to snap it off, and the
And then
tree's
all I
going to
gotta
stay
do is
intact.
shred. I
All
don't
you
have
gotta
to
do is
bring in
shred.
any heavy equipment,
Yeah.
any kind of.
Or come with a machete and just.
Mm-hmm. Yep. AAA BBBB wants to know, is the Marcus pumpkin available in the Caribbean? I mean, I don't
It
see
should
why
be.
not.
It's a
Yeah.
West Indian.
Yeah.
I don't think it's available in the Caribbean.
I mean, no one that I know
I
grows
know a
it
lady
commercially.
that lives near me from Jamaica, and she has it in her yard here, but she seemed to have known about it. She didn't know much about the names, but she said we got the same ones in Jamaica.
Well, there's a lot of. Let me tell you something. Every time you plant a seed, you know, odds are that you're gonna come across a Marcus pumpkin, but Jamaican version
Yeah,
that can look very similar.
yeah,
You can say, oh yeah, we get avocados with ridges down here too.
yeah,
It could be a West Indian trait.
yeah. Gadiel Gomez has them in Puerto Rico, Marcus pumpkin. Okay, O.C. O'Neill wants us to remind him which avocado had the walnut flavor.
That was the Bumpy
The
Cotto.
Avocado,
Avocado.
another
It's like
Julian Lara discovery.
Yeah.
You're hitting it out of the park this year, my
I
friend.
know,
It's
man.
like the Oro Negro, similar.
Yeah, right. It's
Yeah.
like a bumpy
different.
green skin Oro Negro,
For an industry,
and it comes at the same time as Oro Negro because right now my tree's full of this.
is
You
it
don't
a
remember
good
though,
producer?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't remember,
I don't know where it came from. I know I top worked it
That's amazing.
because it was supposed to be something interesting.
That's amazing.
But I don't remember who gave it to me. The thing is, people gravitate towards us when they find something good,
Yeah.
find something new, something unheard of.
Yeah.
A lot of people just gravitate towards me and other people with budwood and say, hey, look,
Yeah.
here's the budwood.
Yeah.
Conserve this variety.
Yeah.
This is an important variety.
Yeah.
It does this. It makes
Yeah.
this. It's this season. It's that. You know.
On that topic, and I'm going to ask our viewers, and please go into the chat and tell us, would you all be interested in an America's Got Talent where Paul, Julian, and me are the judges? I could be Paula Abdul. Paul, you're definitely Simon.
Simon.
Yeah, he's Simon, right?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
Simon.
Yeah.
And who are you, Blake Shelton?
No, I'm Jackson.
Okay, all right. I don't even know
wait,
who's on.
when's the last time you guys watched this? Because both of the people you mentioned haven't been on for like 10 years.
I have never
Yeah,
watched it.
Paul. Yeah, we're
I watch one thing on TV, NFL football. That's it. So, anyways, but here's the idea: we set up a I don't know, something similar to this, and people come with their yard-grown, seed-grown new varieties, and we taste it and we review.
Yeah, as long as there's enough participants.
We'd have to
actually-
we'd have to promote it and get people to sign up and commit to come. And if we did it in like July or August, we could get some good overlap with mango, avocado, which is probably enough. A lot of people grow their own mango, you know?
Yeah, mangoes would probably be a lot more than. But I have a friend who has a friend that grew a Russell seedling and made this little tiny, cute little Russell like this long, like a miniature Russell.
You were telling me about it.
Yeah, I think I have
It's like
pictures.
a cucumber, you said. Like
Yeah.
a long, skinny
Well,
cucumber.
yeah, it's like really weird, like really long,
Yeah.
skinny avocado, but with a seed in it.
Yeah, and then we could sample it, right? And then we could do our
Do
little
an
assessment.
American avocado,
Yeah.
American Idol.
So tell me if y'all would be interested in that. We'll make you famous. I'll put you on the Sleepy Lizard YouTube channel, and by the end of the week, 3,500 people will have seen that video.
The
You'll be
majority of
famous.
people that give me a seedling to taste,
They're bad.
it's really bad.
This is why you would be Simon.
No, you'd agree.
No, I'm the girl. What did I say? Paula
Paula
Abdul.
Abdul.
I'm the positive one. Yeah,
That's nice, but no,
yeah.
you don't go to Hollywood.
No, but I'll tell you what, Paul. I would agree because I've eaten a ton of seedling avocados.
The
I've yet to
enthusiasm that
find a
comes
good-
from the people, like, oh, this is the best thing I've ever tasted.
I've eaten.
Well, I get a lot of people that say, "Oh, this is from my father's house, and I want to conserve this avocado." I'm like, "Are you sure it's not just the Simmons?" I can
Tom, hand me that, please. Yeah.
the paper towel.
Yeah.
I did. I was doing a video. A guy brought me some avocados. They looked like mini choquettes, and I thought it was going to taste great because it didn't have that gnarly seedling look. And I went out in the grove and I had the camera running, and I tasted the avocado, and I had to spit it out, and I felt so bad, and I didn't know how to finish the video because I want to make the guy feel bad. So then I texted him and I was just honest with him, and he's like, "No, it's cool, man," you know. So then I put the video up that I didn't quite enjoy the avocado, you know.
Right.
But it took me by surprise. This is Taylor? I already know I love Taylor.
Really? You love this?
I love Taylor.
Really?
Well, this one might be a little early.
Yeah. This would get a thumbs down from me. I've had Taylor before, and
It has a good flavor, but it's on the watery side.
This one's a little, I think, just timing wise, Julian. You know.
You got the PT paper towel.
I'll admit this isn't the best Taylor I've had, but on the whole, I'm a big fan of the Taylor. Love them.
I'll bring some more Taylor later on in the year.
All right. OC Neil wants a reminder, or do we already remind him, which had the walnut flavor? It was the Bumpy Cotto.
Bumpy Cotto.
Yet again, another avocado tree that there's only one in existence, and Julian has it.
Wow.
Right?
What are the odds? What are the odds of that happening? Yeah, this Bumpy Cotto thing is a mystery, and I called all of my contacts in Puerto Rico, and I sent them a picture, and they have no clue. So it wasn't anybody from Puerto Rico that must have sent me this budwood in the mail. I don't remember collecting this budwood or seeing this avocado before. And I top worked it on one of my trees in my collection. I knocked down one of my trees and top worked it with this.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea it was going to be this. So this is weird.
It gets
I have a
thumbs up from
memory.
me.
I guess I'm getting old, man, forgetting
Yeah.
where the hell I'm getting things from.
Paul and Julian, you could only plant one type of Kaimito. Which one you planting and why? Which variety?
Oh, my house variety, the Lara Purple, which is thin skin, almost no latex inside. It fruits from January, from late December, January, all the way to June. So you got a 6-month crop on it. Usually star apples start making fruit in March, but this one starts in late December, January, all the way to June. And it makes a decent sized fruit, the size of a baseball. And it's very soft flesh, very, very sweet, very, very high in sugar, good sugar, and thin skin, which is what is very unique about it, because usually they're very thick-skinned fruit with a lot of latex and stick your lip together.
And then Paul, before we go to your preference, Julian, you said your house variety. Tell them what that means.
Well, my house variety is like, people have their own house wines, their own homemade brew. This is one of our varieties that we planted from seed in-house. So we planted, let's say, 10 varieties, and out of the 10, this is the one that we selected for grafting because of its traits. Like I was mentioning before,
Like you just said about
thin
it.
skin, no latex, long
Season,
long
the flavor.
season, sweet flavor. Because it's gonna have all these good traits, but then it's not that sweet. Then what good is that?
Yeah.
which is the one that's the baseball size?
That's the Hipólito, which is named after.
That one. I met a guy just now who said he gave you one of the varieties you have. There's only 3 of them, and he knew the guy's house, the old guy that lived near here. He said he was at his. He had one, and he had one, and you had one, or something.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
And then
The only ones that I have is my house variety. I have the Hipólito, which I got personally from the Dominican Republic, which I brought back from there personally. And then I have another one called, I cut it down because I didn't think it was that good anymore. It was one called Carango, which I got from Richard Campbell. And then I got my number 4 variety, which is one of those 10, one of those seedlings that was selected, which is also known as Lara's Plum. It's a small Kaimito.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a small Kaimito, looks like a plum, and it's super sweet, super thin skin, but it's a small Kaimito.
yours fruit a lot. Whenever I'm at your nursery, there's always fruit on the tree.
So my answer would be anyone that he's growing, because every time I go there, I taste them all.
They're good.
And I don't keep track of the seasons because of all this information about what season they're in. But I've never had one bad from his farm.
They're good, aren't they?
But based on what he said on the season of that, I
Yeah,
go with the
and
one he said.
Kaimito star fruit is a seriously underrated fruit. It is something that, you can compare to honeydew melon, something you can compare to grapes, something you can compare to fig. It's all those all wrapped up in one fruit.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal.
It
Phenomenal.
really is. It really, and it's a beautiful tree. The leaves are two-tone.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a
almost an
bronze-
ornamental
Yeah, when the
thing
wind
to
blows,
it.
they shimmer. They're green on top and,
And
bronze
gold
on the
and
bottom.
gold on the bronze.
Here's
is
a
gold.
really interesting thing. 99% of the nurseries you get to order a star apple, if it's grafted, they're gonna have either green or purple with no name at all. Now some of them are starting to get the Hippolito one.
Hipólito, yeah. Well, Hipólito,
Hipólito.
people are getting wise to Hipólito because it's the size of a softball.
But his site has like 3 or 4 named ones, not just green or purple. And
Yeah.
it's,
I think it's always better to have named
and
varieties.
the green ones, like his green and his purple one, are not the green and purple you find other places. Don't think he just named them. They're completely different.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and on
A
that
lot of people
topic-
don't care about Caimito that much to bother.
They don't know about it.
looking for varieties of it, or I got this one called here called Barbie, and I got another one here called Fred that I got from Fred's house. They don't bother to name any of these things.
But also, that's a rare one, right? And like Mame, we know Mame here in Miami because it's everywhere.
Right.
You get out of South Florida, people never heard of Mame. And the thing I learned this year, just about every first timer ordered another box off of me. They loved Mame. So similarly, Caimito, Star Apple, that's something a lot of people haven't even heard
Have
of.
you tried Canistel frozen?
not
Oh,
frozen.
you gotta try that frozen.
I'd have to try. I'm not a fan of it. Like,
I don't like it.
I like it in a shake. I'm not a big fan of eating it,
You
but
gotta
I'll
try the
it
Ross.
frozen.
You know,
I've
I
had
should
the
have brought.
Ross.
I should have brought some Ross fruit, man. I forgot.
Your house variety.
Right.
So you planted a seed, you planted a bunch of seeds, you got trees, they eventually gave fruit.
Right.
You then analyze that fruit. Obviously, if it tastes bad, you're dead in
Right,
the water,
right,
right?
right.
You also want it to be a regular producer, a good producer. If the tree grows fast, that helps too, right? But tell me this, so you grow the tree, how long till it gets fruit?
Oh, from a graft or from a seed?
From your experience growing that seed. What I'm
Oh,
getting at is how long does it take a guy like you
Yeah,
to
take
get
a
a new
decade.
variety of fruit to market?
Take a
No, to get
decade.
it to market. So you grow the seed, it takes about a decade to get fruit.
Right.
You taste the fruit,
20 years.
right? Right? You taste the fruit, it's good. Now you gotta wait another year to see if it's a good producer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
20
you had
years.
one on a tree that was grown. We would talk about purple rain or whatever. The purple one, it was growing inside the tree, and we tried that one. That one was amazing.
Yeah,
That
yeah, it
in
was
your
big and
backyard.
purple. Yeah, those are the
That was
Hipólito.
really nice.
Yeah,
There was an Hipólito growing on
Yeah.
a tree, grafted Hipólito tree, and then somehow the rootstock managed to make a branch.
oh, you got a rogue in the middle?
And
really
then
cool.
and
That's
that
cool.
branch
Yeah.
made fruit,
Yeah.
a purple fruit.
Yeah.
So that was really
Yeah.
interesting.
But
yeah.
where I'm going with this, Julian, is you got seed, then you got 10 years till you get fruit. Then maybe another year or two to make sure it's a regular producer, it's not gonna get sick, all that kind of stuff. Only then, at year 12 or 13, do you then start grafting it onto other
Yeah. So the
trees.
good thing is that this my house variety made fruit in less than 10 years.
Okay,
it
but-
made fruit like in like between 5 and 8 years.
Let's call it 6, right?
Right.
6 years to fruit, another 1 or 2 years to make sure it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you're only at the point where you're gonna harvest budwood and graft it, and you only have that 1 6-year-old tree. So you don't have a ton of budwood to harvest.
No, the first thing I
And
did
then-
was graft it and plant more.
And then you make that generation of grafted ones.
Yeah.
And then the next season you can make another generation of grafted ones. So now we're on about year 10,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And then you start sending it out to guys like me who
Right.
are commercial fruit growers, where it's still gonna be 3-4 years till that tree's big enough to produce fruit.
Yeah.
And only then does it hit the market. So you're looking at, even a tree that fruits in 6 or 7 years, you're looking at a 12 to 15 year innovation cycle
Yeah.
in the fruit growing
Get it
business.
to just between discovering it, evaluating it, and then produce
And then
it.
disseminating
then mass produce it.
And
We
we're
do a video
watching,
about it. And
yeah, and
take a
we're,
decades long video.
well, and we're watching this take place right now, and you guys are watching it along with us with 2 varieties, which are the Mame Avocado and the Jamaica Mame,
Mame.
right?
Yeah. And then the Bumpy Cotto.
Well, now the Bumpy Cotto will be the next one, right? So you're in the process with the Mame. They've already grown into a fruit. You discovered the fruit, but we don't have them yet. The commercial growers don't have them yet because you still got that first generation growing, and it'll be a few years. So people ask me, when can I buy Mames? I'm saying, for me, you're not going to get them for at least 5 or 6 years, because I would rather you get them out to all, our viewers and our customers, you know what I mean? And then once it's a regular thing, yeah, I'll probably, when I have to put in a new tree, I'll start putting in Mame.
How's your graft looking? Your Mame graft.
one more survived. Just one survived.
Oh, one of them already turned black.
Yes.
The ones you did on the trunk.
One on the trunk and one on
And which one died? The one on the trunk or the one on top?
Both, and there's one left on the trunk.
The one on the trunk survived, and the
One
one.
of them on the trunk is left.
How many did you put on the trunk?
3. No,
Three?
2.
I remember you put one in the middle,
2 on the trunk and 1 on the top.
and one on the top. Okay, so the one on the top died,
And one of the ones in the trunk died.
and one of the ones on the trunk
And
died,
one's still green.
and one's still green. Okay, good. So there's still hope.
There's hope.
Yeah.
I
And
saw
then,
you putting aluminum foil on there
Yeah,
to cover the graft from what? The sun?
yeah.
And does
Not from the sun, from just to keep it dry.
But if you have buddy tape around it, if completely like a mummy, that will keep it dry.
And the sun as well.
Now, do those die or those make it?
It depends on the graft. Like with mangoes, I did.
So yes, some of them
My
take
my
and some of them
grafting
don't?
rate's 50%.
50,
So I'm still
50?
learning.
I'm like thinking, God, I can get the temperature underneath that aluminum foil can be really hot, or it might not because it reflects sunlight. I don't know. I'm curious to know what's the
My
temperature
success is
Oh,
better
that's
with the foil
interesting.
than without.
that's interesting.
with and without. Is
Yeah,
your
but
your
still,
experience?
I'm still new and not.
Basically, my advice to you is get rid of the aluminum foil and just stick with the buddy tape out in full sun. I do plenty of avocado and mango grass with buddy tape in full sun, and I get really almost 100%.
Okay.
What we're talking about is top working, is grafting an already existing tree. And when we do seedlings, we can control the environment they're in. Julian's got a pretty sophisticated, I don't know what you call it, a greenhouse,
Yeah.
a grow house.
Yeah, greenhouse.
I mean, you control the humidity levels, the temperatures in there, the amount of light.
My-
When you graft onto an already existing tree that's out in a yard or out in a grove, you can't control that. So we're talking about ways to mitigate exposure to the
Well,
elements.
with buddy tape, as long as the scion or the budwood is completely wrapped with the buddy tape, kind of like what I demonstrated last time I was here on the avocado, that will seal the outside elements. What you needed to do is to simulate being inside of a plastic bag. And that buddy tape simulates that. It covers the whole budwood, and the little spaces in between the tape and the budwood, which is nothing, creates little water droplets inside, which is what's simulating being inside of a plastic bag.
With the condensation and.
Correct,
Okay,
correct,
gotcha.
correct.
Yeah.
That's what the budwood needs in order to drink water.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's being fused and bonded with the rootstock.
Yeah.
So until that happens, once the budwood fuses and bonds with the rootstock, it's got to start pushing out new growth because it's getting it from the main source. And then it won't need the buddy tape anymore or the plastic bag.
Couple more questions we have here. Number one, people like the name Bumpicado.
They do, huh?
Yeah, they're like,
All right.
I like it too. I like the name Bumpicado. I like it. I like it. O.C. O'Neill wants another clarification. No, O.C. O'Neill, the walnut flavored avocado is the Bumpicado.
Yeah.
The Marcus pumpkin we're talking
Sweet.
about, this one right here, this giant avocado. This guy is the more sweet, starchy one. And another question.
Bumpicado.
Daily life on a vineyard. What is that red fruit in front of you? And I'm going to defer to Julian on this since it's what he's known for.
Yeah, this is Mame Sapote. It's a tropical fruit from Central America. It's native to Central America, but adopted by the Cuban culture as their own. It's very much sought after fruit by Cubans. Puerto Rican,
And by me.
And
I eat half of one a
by
day.
first timers that either love it or like it a little bit. But yeah, this is a very sought after fruit by Cubans, and now it appears to be Americans are jumping on the bandwagon when it comes to mame. It tastes fruity with a little pumpkin pie and
Sweet potato.
sweet potato pie.
Yeah.
So it's very, very sweet, and as you can see, it's bright red and catches a lot of attention because of the color. And that's good because human beings are attracted to bright colors. That's our natural instinct is to pick the fruit with the bright color on it because I guess by nature we're drawn to bright colors because of the antioxidants and all the vitamins and minerals that it has on it. So yeah, that's what it is. Mame Sapote.
Yeah, excellent question. And Paul, as a guy who sustains himself by what he grows, I gotta think Mame is an excellent calorie source for you.
100%. Most fruit, the snacks, they're not gonna work for me. So a lot of people desire to have snacks. I don't need a snack.
You need to stick
Probably
to your
one of the most
ribs.
filling foods where you could eat one fruit and be full.
Yeah.
Would be Mame.
Yeah, I'll have it for lunch. I'll be out
And the
and
good
work
thing
and I
about
come in.
Mame is, of all the fruits we have here, besides avocado, you can get Mame during season pretty readily in the store. And most of the times they're not picked in time, and they're not nowhere near as good as you get them if you get them from the website.
Yeah, but you gotta scratch it. When you go to the supermarket, scratch it with your
That's what I was
nail
gonna say.
and see if it's red like this. If it's red like this, when you scratch, it's hard, and you scratch it and it's red, that means it will ripen fine.
Yeah, or another thing, if you go to the grocery store and you don't see old scratches, it means they're not scratch testing it before they pick them.
Yeah.
So
it's never
my
been
guys are
scratched,
out,
yeah.
and I might be packing a box. I might see they scratch it at the bottom, they scratch it at the top, they scratch it at the middle, and we're looking for red, right? Did it scratch red? By the time a lot of mine to make it to market, they'll have been scratched 3 or 4 times.
Right. They're waiting to see if it gets completely red, because they can be yellow to orange
They don't.
to red.
Green, bright green.
Or green,
They
Bright
don't
green
care.
early on.
In the supermarket, they don't care. They want to get it there as soon
Exactly.
as possible.
Or just to fill up a box. Oh, we're short
Exactly.
7 pounds.
Yeah.
All right, just get that, throw it in.
Yeah, and Mame is a funny fruit because you could pick from a tree from January through July. It's not like other fruits where it's like, okay, these are all ready to go. Each fruit ripens on its own
And,
cycle.
and another thing about being self-sustaining, okay, back in the days when the Spanish conquered Central America, okay, the Indians, the natives over there, would take the Spaniards to find the gold. That's all the Spaniards wanted. So where's the gold at? Where's the gold? Where are the mines? Okay, send an expedition. What's his name? Montezuma.
Yeah,
Okay, send us an expedition and send us your people to show us where the gold is. And Montezuma would be like, all right, I'm gonna send these 3 guys with you to show you where the mine is. They're gonna take you. It's gonna take a few weeks to get there, but they're gonna show you where the gold is. So the Spanish would run out of food. They would run out of food on the way over there to the end of expedition. And the natives, the Indians, they would eat mame, and when they would finish eating the mame, they will flip it. They will flip it with the skin up.
okay.
Okay, to conceal the red flavor. They would eat it behind their backs.
Oh, so they live, and so they weaken.
So they can self-sustain themselves with the mame, so that they can survive without going hungry, while the Spanish were starving
Yeah.
to death and dying.
Yeah.
And while they were concealing the mame, the fruit that was sustaining them, by flipping it downwards, face
Yeah.
down, so it'll look like it's dirt on the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah,
And the Spanish
Brilliant.
didn't figure it out.
brilliant.
They will die during the expedition to find the gold.
Yeah. Well, my experience, I'm a little different than you, Paul, where I don't sustain myself entirely from what I grow or on fruits and stuff like that. But during the lockdowns in 2020, I said to my wife, you know what? The garden is no longer a novelty. The garden ain't about spices and peppers and tomatoes. We got to start putting some sweet potato in. And I got to start putting trees in of food that could give us calories.
Well, sweet potato definitely grows very easy and year round.
It's a good one to do in the summer here when
Year-round.
nothing else
Yeah,
grows.
yeah.
I put in a bunch of different kinds of banana, just because you need that. Like Paul, I thought that was a great way of summarizing it. A lot of fruit is a snack. A mame is a meal.
Exactly.
A mame is a meal.
Aki's a phenomenal snack.
Yeah,
It's
Aki
like
would be
eating
a
a
snack.
Snickers.
Yeah.
It's like eating a Snickers. You get a little hungry.
Yeah.
Before lunch, you eat a few of these, and you're good.
Yeah, that I would be akin for me to like munching on some carrot sticks or
So
something.
where does Mame grow that they have gold mines?
Central America.
Central America. Okay.
That's the origin of mame. And when the Spanish went there, they saw all the gold they had in the temples and all the pyramids the Aztecs had. So they're like, hey, we like that. Where's it at? Where are you guys getting this gold? Where's the rivers? Where's the caves? Where is it? And oh yeah, we'll take you.
They're looking for the gold. Paul will be looking for the fruit.
Yeah, that's
Paul will be
like
like, well, never mind the gold.
Where's the Oro Negro
Yeah,
at?
Greater Good, I want to thank you for all of the participation, and Greater Good answers a lot of questions on our behalf too. Thank you for that. And he says, Alex Salazar speaks highly of the Taylor avocado. He's referring to Alex from Tropical Acres, our local, not just local, global authority on mangoes. I mean, the guy's a walking encyclopedia.
No.
Contributes to the mango
great.
knowledge base.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Just
really
an
admire
amazing
Alex.
guy.
I really
Yeah, amazing guy. Laura Purple, Cupcake Betty's just reminding herself. Delicious variety. Alexi Rodriguez, with a rare question. He's usually the one answering questions. Do you need 2 different varieties of Caimito to get fruit?
Yes.
Okay.
They don't self-pollinate, unfortunately. So you need 2.
Which is why I think mine hasn't fruited in 4 years. I think someone must have bought a property and cut down a nearby
theirs.
Caimito.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, you can just, let's say you don't have enough room, you can just leave one in the pot and put one in the ground. And
That's
in
what
the
I have
pot-
now. I got one in a pot right out
In
here.
the pot,
Yeah.
they flower
Yeah.
and make fruit. Especially, I've seen them fruit in a 7-gallon.
Yeah. Yep. Alexi, I'm kind of with you. Okay, you're saying the Ross variety of Canistel doesn't have the funkiness. I do get a funkiness.
Yeah, the Ross is very moist
Okay.
because Canistel is usually chalky. Even you have to wait till it gets really, really soft for it to
Okay.
use that chalk. But most of them are on the chalky side. But Ross and Fairchild No. 2 and Aru, okay, Aru is another variety of Canistel that I got from the USDA down in Chapman Field here in Miami. And those 3 varieties are the most moist out of all Canistels, especially the Ross. And the Ross doesn't even look like a Canistel. It looks like a tomato, like a yellow persimmon.
Paul, question for you. Alpha Gorilla Thug. That is a
Alpha, no beta.
That's a strong name. You got
Is that a
Thug, you
question or
got
a
Gorilla,
comment?
you got Alpha. Well, it is a comment. You know, that name sends a message. But Alpha Gorilla Thug wants to know about pawpaw fruit, which I imagine you
yeah.
guys have had. I have not, but I gotta think y'all have.
Well, I'll tell you
Like
that.
a banana and pineapple. And it's delicious. I love pawpaw.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, that I was recently interviewing a doctor online, and he was telling me that he took out he's in California, and his favorite food is cherimoya, and he grows it.
So-
And he had to take them out because he found out there's a neurotoxin in cherimoyas. And I wasn't believing in buying it, but he said he took out all his anonas, and it was his favorite fruit. So I looked into it and found out that it's in all the anonas, but
Yeah, but that's-
I know, but soursop has it in the skin and in the seeds and in the leaves, and we're told like, oh, soursop leaves are great for cancer and
For
all this.
killing cancer.
But it's actually the neurotoxins in the leaves, and if you look deep into it, anyone that knows about this, the tea itself says don't overdo it because they know about the neurotoxin.
Right.
But to your question, in the research, it's in a little bit amount of the Anona family, but it's in a huge amount in pawpaw. It's in a huge amount, this neurotoxin. So after reading that, I go back and forth. Should I consume Anonas? And I most likely still will. I'm actually growing some red custard apples and love them. But after what I read and saw that huge difference in the amount, I wouldn't touch a pawpaw.
Well, I don't know. I mean, sometimes the neurotoxins are present in premature or not like right before it gets ripe, but it's still hard, but it's getting squishy. That's when it probably has more toxins in it because the plant's natural instinct is to have these defense mechanisms to protect the seed. And along with the fruit, if the fruit's not ready to eat, kind of like this Mame Americana, if you eat it before it's ready, it'll give you a bellyache. And if you eat the seed, it can damage your gut as well. But there's defense mechanisms in place, and Anonas are known to have very toxic seeds. They even use seeds of the sugar apple and custard apple and soursop, guanabana, to make insecticide.
Wow.
With the seed, yeah. You grind up the seed. I don't know exactly the process, but you grind up the seeds in a blender or whatever, mix it with water, let it sit there for a while, make like a tea with it, and then strain it and then spray. And that they use to kill whitefly and aphids and thrips.
So, Paul, are you saying that next time I'm considering having a pawpaw, I should just have a Snickers bar instead?
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
Fasting is a wonderful thing.
Gotcha. Oh, I'll never fast.
But it's good for you. Fasting, if they say if you fast 7 days, your chances of getting cancer goes down to like almost zero.
Yeah, I don't care.
But let me tell
It's
you,
good for me. I'm
it's
old
hard.
enough.
I had to do a
I'm
colonoscopy,
Yeah.
and I had to fast for 1 day,
Yeah,
and bro, that was just insane, man. It
It's
was
terrible.
hard. It's hard.
yeah.
You haven't got one yet?
I have not had a colonoscopy. I have had my prostate checked,
Right.
and
You
know
didn't have
what?
to. You didn't have to fast for that.
I didn't have to fast for it, but it was a little weird because I was at the eye doctor.
What? Oh man, took advantage. You got the right eye on you.
Okay, Frosty, it's getting down into the 20s at night. It's going to be down in the teens and 10s in no time at all up there in Vermont. Moosehead, great introduction. He's happy to be hearing from us. Cupcake Betty talking about pumpkin pie. Julian gave me a great idea for making a Mame shake, which was to put a little bit of cream cheese in, mix it in with some sugar and
Yeah,
stuff
just
like
make your
that.
fix. Put whatever you're gonna put in the blender and get a tablespoon of cream cheese. Throw it in the blender, and it turns into like a fine grain ice cream milkshake.
I enjoyed that so much. I went out the next day. Paul, you're going to hate this. I'm sorry. And I went and got Cool Whip and cream cheese and Mame, and I mixed the three together, and I got one of them Betty Crocker already made.
Oh wow!
Put it in there.
Yeah.
Then I got me some color sprinkles, for ice cream.
yeah.
Put my little sprinkles on top.
Oh lord.
Put it in the fridge. Let that cream cheese set.
Right.
Oh, like you talk about an easy
It was like a
pie.
cheesecake. It was like a Mame
like
cheesecake.
a pumpkin cheesecake, but it's Mame, not pumpkin.
Yeah, that's
it
my-
was
I don't understand how you could have the world's greatest tasting fruit in the greatest tasting form right off your own tree.
Yeah.
And you need to alter it.
I agree with you on that, and I feel the same way. Like when I make guacamole, and people say, "Oh, you should put white onions, you should put garlic," and I say I would prefer to taste the fruit unadulterated. Or a lot of times on my recipes on my YouTube channel, I'll make like a mango salsa, and I try to keep it because I want to taste the main ingredient. I'm right there with you. Can I tell you my motivation behind this pie? It's just an excuse to eat Cool Whip. It's not about the Mame. It's about the Cool Whip.
Well, there's a
I
lot of
love
different
Cool Whip.
flavored cheesecakes out there. You go to
Yeah.
the Cheesecake Factory, and they have every
Yeah.
flavored cheesecake under the sun.
They do.
Except for
Mame.
Mame cheesecake.
Yeah.
That, let me tell you,
Yeah.
I think that will be one hell of a novelty
Yeah.
here in the Redlands.
They need to
have
retool
a place.
the factory.
I would love to be that place that sells Mame cheesecake.
Mm.
When you go buy Mame fruit, or I want to basically, my biggest
Yeah.
ambition right now,
Yeah.
my biggest plan is to sell Mame ice cream
Oh,
and Mame milkshakes.
you don't even have to make the ice cream. Just sell the
Exactly.
frozen Mame.
Exactly.
Oh, it's
But
so
I
good.
will take it to the next level.
Or I can make
Because-
paletas that was just pure pulp on a stick
Exactly.
in a mold.
I will take it to the next level. See, their version of making Mame ice cream or Mame cheesecake has junk in it.
Junk.
I could make the same exact cheesecake with Mame, and like I do when I use my other foods, all healthy, natural.
Well,
No, you're right about that. The only difference is ours is going to taste
I would
good.
need a-
100%.
But ours will taste good.
100%. I challenge you right now. I challenge you next time.
Paul, I love your foods.
Next
I love
time.
your foods. I love your foods.
We'll do a natural, raw, vegan pie or cake with some type of fruit. You name the fruit, and you had your version
Yeah.
with all your artificial flavors and
Yeah.
sprinkles. And we'll let Julian be the blind taste test.
Sprinkles. Butterscotch.
And we'll see.
sauce.
all right, we'll do that next video.
Okay, a couple other things here in the comments. Let's see here. What did I see? Oh, Mojo's mama wants to know which avocado is sweet and satisfying and in season right now.
Well, Marcus Pumpkin.
Yeah, except for you can't find them anywhere.
I
I find
may have one or two on the tree. I gotta
LaraFarmsMiami.com.
Lula is coming in. Which is
Lula, I would agree with you there, Paul. I don't sell Lula myself, but Lula
I might get a batch of Lula's.
falls into
and
that
it's not my
category.
favorite. It's just a sweet variety.
It's a
that's
sweet
good.
variety.
That's
It is-
good.
it is one of my
Dry,
favorites.
pasty, it's sticky.
I love it.
I like sticky avocado.
I like it as a spread.
This bumpy one was pretty sticky.
Yeah.
Like an Oro Negro.
Who do we got here? Does anyone down here have a collection of banana cultivars? He wants to find Musa Akumanata.
Your best bet is emailing Going Bananas Nursery.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy is
Amazing.
the authority.
Amazing. My dad says we're breaking up. Okay, this guy Moosehead's Connection, so it looks like, are we still?
Yeah, so we're live.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, we're out in the Everglades, man.
It says live.
Yeah, and I could see me here.
There's no glitching.
You know, it might have froze a little bit here and there. It's just the nature of where I
But you're
live.
looking at this nonstop, so you would have noticed if it glitched.
Yeah, but I just keep looking at you. I can't take my eyes off you, Julian. And it's not. You're right about that. But anyways, Alexi Rodriguez's mom would be adding condensed milk. I'm not gonna lie. I've added condensed milk to a shake.
Yeah, but that really takes away the flavor. You're
Yeah.
really tasting the condensed milk more than
Yeah,
anything
and
else.
Georgia Gardner's with Paul that, you know, he prefers an unadulterated fruit.
That's what I eat day in, day out, is unadulterated, fresh from the tree.
Yep.
On a daily basis.
Kai Samerson, one of our man of many faces. A good way to escape the chaos and anarchism. I don't know. Is that a word?
Yeah, anarchism.
Oh, really?
Anarchy, anarchy.
Of these big cities is by eating avocados. Okay, Alexis.
Well, we can live off of avocado and potatoes.
Someone here says he thought going bananas went
That's
out of
everything you
business.
Going bananas is out of
I
business?
don't know.
Email him.
Who's the guy that runs that?
Don?
Don Lassard?
No.
Oh, no.
Don Chafin, I think his last
Oh.
name is. I did a video with him a long time ago. Long time ago. Maybe almost
I have to do a video of that because he
almost 20 years ago.
Looks like they, from going on their website, but don't go by me here, but it looks like they may have, their only
Appointments only.
appointments for nursery business only.
Well,
not
because you want to
retail.
buy a tree. Nursery is selling trees.
Oh, so as in, I don't want to buy bananas.
I don't want to buy banana fruit. I want to buy a tree. A
I
nursery
thought they
business.
meant like you as a
No,
nurseryman
no,
versus
no.
a retail.
No, they're not.
buyer.
They're not wholesale.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
skin on his Bumpy is thick.
It's
Yeah.
cool. It's so thick. Parkinson
Look at that
Harmington.
color from the inside.
Yeah.
Okay, Ali Maher wants to
Good.
know, in Saudi Arabia, so Julian touched on this a little earlier for people in Arizona, in that kind of heat, what type of fruit options do they have over there?
Well, how cold does it get over there? Does it get below 32? Well, like I said, if it gets below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, okay, you got to take measures to protect it. What would those measures be? Build the structure around it, like with some wood, some 2x4s or whatever wood you have left over, and staple plastic around it, make like a little greenhouse around it, custom to the tree, and that's for the winter. And make sure you water it properly for the winter, okay? Because dry soil and cold weather is not a good mix. It will dry up the tree really fast. And then for the time of the year when it's really hot, got this extreme heat going on, cover it in shade cloth. You know, maybe 85% shade, maybe 55% shade. Maybe you want to, switch it up. If it's really intense, put 85. If it's not that intense, put 55 or 65. And then fertilize it with some good fertilizer. Use the all-purpose Miracle Grow. Yeah. And don't rely on manure or mulch and all that stuff, especially when you're growing a tree. You got to give it the fertilizers that will make it grow really fast, and which is the all-purpose Miracle Grow.
Okay, we need to acknowledge Harmington, the man of many faces, because he's starting to glitch a little bit and hit us with all his different identities.
Mm-hmm.
So he wants to know our thoughts on laurel wilt. I think we all agree it sucks.
Yeah,
It's
or
horrible.
well, as long as you catch it early, you
Yeah.
can cut it out. You
Yeah.
can cut it out. You gotta take sample. You gotta cut
Yeah.
a little piece of wood here, see if it's yellowing.
Yeah.
If the wood part is yellowing.
Yeah.
If it is, go down a little bit lower, cut it in there,
Yeah.
see if it's yellowing. If the hardwood is yellowing,
Yeah.
until you see that it's white. When you see it's white, that's where you cut it completely.
Yeah.
And then hopefully from that point up, it's all gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you buzz the tree down, you go up, you see your buddy Julian, you come home with a brand new 7-gallon, and you're now growing a new variety. Like
right.
Paul said, you go through the stages of grief real quick.
Yeah.
You get to acceptance in about 2 hours, and I'm at Julian's
new
hanging
spot,
out. I'm
yeah.
watching a couple episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm and going home with a new tree. Okay, and then also the same guy likes to imitate a bot, so he said, "Me do think you do good videos." So I hope that scratches your itch.
Well, that's very nice.
Flycatcher 1234 hates it when fruit flies hang around his avocados. Interesting for a name like Flycatcher, but yeah, we're not big fans of fruit flies either. That could put us out of business. And then we have O.C. O'Neill wants to know some suggestions. He said 5 to 10 mangoes that might grow in Southern California. I wouldn't know how
I think
to
all of
answer
them.
that.
I think all of them. All of them, because there's no difference between. There's not one mango that's more cold hardy than another mango.
They're all the
So they're
same.
all the same. And like again, you got to take measures to protect it for those years in Southern California that it goes below 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yep. We've been at it for almost 3 hours, guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
It goes by fast.
Yeah, and just a reminder, I sell my fruit at guacfarm.com, GUACFARM.com, and I'll tell you what, I really enjoy it, and I really enjoy this time of year, and I'm pushing my fruit a little harder this year because I have to buy a picking machine. In previous years, my volumes were low enough that I could go out with by hand, kept me in shape, took hours, but with a pick and pull. Can't do it now. I need a picking machine. I've been renting one from my buddy. And so I need to, I need to raise some funds. So I got to step on the
And it's
gas
hard to
with
raise
sales.
funds now with inflation.
It's hard to make money. It's hard to make money, and I consider myself pretty good at it, and it's still hard. But anyways,
Well, it's harder than ever.
Yeah,
Well,
it is.
how many viewers do you have right now on live?
There are there's 44 people right now.
If every 44 person gave
$100.
$1,000, you'd have $44,000.
I could buy a
You could
picking
buy one,
machine.
yeah.
Yeah.
What if they gave $100?
I could buy it. I could put the down payment
Down
on
payment.
it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah, but I don't take donations. I sell the fruit. So you got to go to guacfarm.com and buy a box of fruit. I don't have my YouTube set up to take a donation. Although I did a TikTok live the other day, and I got all these diamonds and stuff. I made $5.50.
Wow.
Yeah,
With
people
diamonds.
tipping me, like I was on the pole,
Wow.
giving me my little tips. But anyways, guacfarm.com, GUACFARM.com, LaraFarmsMiami.com, and FruitfulTrees.tv, right?
Yes.
And with those, with us, yes, of course, that's a place to buy fruit, but it's also
Entries.
entries, but also a huge resource. You did too, Paul, I think, a Marcus Pumpkin video, or did you do
Yes.
Maria Black? You did Marcus Pumpkin.
Yes.
And it really took off on Instagram, and I was getting tons of questions. And the way I was answering it was simply by cutting and pasting links to my YouTube videos on those topics. And people were like, wow, you know what I mean? And if you think about it, between the three of us and the different people, especially Paul, the people you have interviewed over the years, there's a master's degree worth of fruit growing there's a PhD level sitting right here at this table with us. But in our videos and stuff, and the collective knowledge from all the people we talk to, there's a master's degree worth of knowledge out there, just in our 3 social medias alone.
It's just called a mastermind. When you have
The mastermind.
when you have several minds focused on one thing,
Yes.
you got a mastermind.
Mastermind. Yep. So I think we'll start wrapping it up, guys. So why don't you get your last minute questions in like we always do. And then while you're doing that, I'm gonna ask Paul. So Paul, what do you got coming up? Like with winter coming, what are your plans? What type of farms are you gonna be visiting? What type of backyards?
I have a bunch of places I already visited that I haven't put videos out yet. So you're gonna
Yeah.
I just put a video out last night that was like chai mangoes.
I saw that.
In Florida. But it's not the season, so I'm about a month behind in getting them out because I got so many. But
What are the Thai mangoes?
all the different Thai mangoes that are out there, the different varieties.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
You're just brushing up on all the different
Well,
Thai
I wrote with
varieties.
Alex and we
Oh,
we
you did a
people-
video with Alex.
That's
yeah,
great.
But whatever fruits in season, that's why I try to visit people's yards and talk to them about those, and also go to nurseries and find out what's the hottest things that are selling right now. And so I'll be going to Laura Farms, and whenever a fruit's in season, I always call myself, "What's in season now?" I want to come down. And let's
You
do a video
texted
on
that
it.
to me yesterday.
Yeah. Always, let's do a video
Yeah.
about that. So whatever's in season, I'll be doing videos on that. But besides that, I'm collecting some trees and getting rid of some trees, and I'm gonna be doing videos on me playing musical chairs with the trees.
Okay.
Well, I really hope that Mame graft you did works out.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I hope so as well.
Keep me posted on every step that you take with that.
Yeah.
I really
And then-
want that to work out for you.
Yeah, and then you, Julian, what do the next couple of months hold for you? So, yeah, as a nurseryman, going into winter,
Well-
going into the holiday times, what do you start focusing on next?
This is the best time for grafting,
Okay.
because have you noticed the air is, we're in the 80s now.
Oh, it's been,
We're not in the 90s anymore.
and
We're
the
in
air
80s.
is less humid.
And,
It's just
and
been
as the
breathable.
air is dry,
It's breathable.
It's not breathing in vapor. So this is a very comfortable climate for grafting tropical fruit. So right now I'm focusing on grafting over 100 varieties of mango, different varieties, and about 40 varieties of avocado, maybe 41 now with the Bumpy color.
Mm-hmm. You better do it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and what else? Just grafting and staying in business.
Yeah.
This is, it's going to be kind of rocky from now to the end of the year because, between the economy being a little bit slow
Yeah.
and, winter coming in, people saving money for Christmas
Holidays
presents and stuff.
yeah.
It's kind of rocky, but we always make it through.
Yeah. And agriculture's feast or famine anyway, right? You're upside down and then your trees come in and then you sell them.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, what's coming in the next couple months, this will be the first year I'm going to actually sell Sapadilla.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be selling it. I'll be offering it to my retail customers. I tested it out last year. I sent a few boxes to my dad and some friends and stuff like that. I found it ships really good. And so for you guys, there's a new fruit. I'll be selling it when we start picking, probably December, January into February timeframe. It's called Sapadilla. If you're in California, you might know it as Chicos. Filipinos call them Chicos. Indians call them Chicus.
Yeah,
Cubans
all
call
the
them
chiclets. Oh,
and then-
call it nispero,
Nispero.
or sapote.
Sapote.
And Jamaicans call it
Naseberry.
Neesberry.
Neesberry, okay. And it's also a cousin of the Mame.
Yeah.
So unlike the Mame Americana, which is completely
I
unrelated.
think Mame Americana is related more to Garcinias.
Probably, I wouldn't know, but this,
But
this,
it looks like the leaf looks like a
Yeah.
Garcinia.
yeah. And the thing about the Sapadilla, it's really, especially for a tropical fruit, it's got a very unique flavor. I've heard it described as molasses, brown sugar. I've gotten hints of cinnamon, not a spicy, not like a big red gum, not a spicy cinnamon, but like just if you had cinnamon as an ingredient in a pumpkin pie or something like that, there's a little cinnamon in there.
It has that little cinnamon sugar crystals in it.
Yeah, the texture's gritty,
Like a pear.
like a pear. You can eat the skin or eat through the skin and spit it out.
Right. Well, the one you can really eat the skin on is the macaque.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I've sent those in the mail this year to many people.
yeah. So I
And
tested
some
them
people,
last year.
because they're small oblong sapadillas, and some people call me back say, "Hey, these things are so small, this and that. What are you sending me? This is not even ready yet." I'm like, "Please, trust me. You will be happy.
Yep.
Just please listen to me and give it some time,
Yeah.
and you will see that you will like it too."
They're
And I get the call back. Yes, I am sorry. You are 100% right. These things are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the Sapadilla, there's two ways to know if it's ripe. One is like we'd said about Mame, you scratch it, and if it scratches like a brownish yellow, almost like the hue of this avocado painting behind me, it's ready to go. But if it comes out like a bright green or a light green, it's still too early. Or there's two other ways. I'll let Paul tell one. Another way is to just gently wiggle the fruit, and if it breaks off, it's ready. Or Paul, what do you do?
Shake the tree.
Paul shakes the tree, and they
Like a
come
slot
right
machine
down.
comes down like a slot machine.
Yeah, and
They're ready
if
to
you
come
notice,
down.
the months I said is December, January, February. Now, mine, especially my macaque, it produces year round, but only
Yeah.
a few stragglers, right?
Right.
But it really hits December, January, February. And where I'm going with this is, I'll find one, I'll just kind of shake and it comes off. I'll come, my wife will be in here working, and the fruit is actually a little chilly because it's like in the 60s
Yeah,
this
it's
time of
like
year.
a natural fridge outside.
And I come in and we'll cut that thing in half, and it's got the shades of orange and brown
Red.
and then like she'll be like, "Oh, what variety is that?" There's Morena, there's Haisa, am I saying it right?
Hacia. Well, there's
Hacia.
the Morena, which is really oblong and it has a red tip.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Hacia, and which is I think maybe the largest one in my collection, and that one has a red tip as well. Then there's the Molix, with an X at the end, Mullish, and it's pronounced Mullish.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Mullish.
It's
okay?
amazing.
That one is completely red inside.
Yeah.
Okay, that was phenomenal. Another one that I grow is the Tikal, and Tikal is just traditionally brown inside, and that one makes fruit several times a year. And then there's the Silas Wood, which is a local variety here in the Redlands, and the original tree is still in the ground.
I've been there.
Oh, yeah?
I've been there.
You've seen it?
Right
Wow.
around the corner
Yeah.
from Julian.
Yeah, and then that Maycock variety, they're smaller and they're a little different. There's more of a punch to them. I
Right.
find
Keep
them
that
to
in
be a
the
little.
pot. You can keep that in the pot.
Yeah, it'll make fruit in a pot just fine. And before they're ripe, when they get a little bit squishy, you can eat it like that too, crunchy like an apple, and it won't dry your mouth.
And
like
I made
other
it.
ones do.
I had so many left over last year. I made jam out of them.
Oh, I love that
my
jam.
God,
That was a
it
great
good.
idea.
Oh.
And then there's one more variety. It's called Alano.
Alano, of course. Yeah,
And Alano-
that's a big commercial
That's
variety.
a big variety.
Yeah.
And that one's from Hawaii. And that one's very good too. And it's on the dwarfy side, just like macaque and just like Silas Wood.
We even have to
Becky's
butterscotch.
getting a kick out of
I did. Oh my God, that may be the
Butterscotch.
biggest and best one out
I
of
got
all
two
of
of
them.
which
Butterscotch.
I've not had that one. I'll have to try it. I like the Morena. I really enjoy
They're all
the
good.
Morena.
They're all
Yeah.
good. They're all good.
Yeah,
You
it's a
can't
great
lose.
fruit. It's
You
a
can't
great
lose.
fruit. So,
Either
anyways,
one.
that's what's new to me. I'll be introducing that to my customers come December, January, and I'm very excited about that. And I hope you guys are too. And if
Because
you
you're
want,
introducing something that a lot of people have no idea about.
no idea. And unfortunately, all I can get to are things that are shippable. We have a fruit here called a loquat. Loquat.
loquat.
You got them along your road.
Yeah.
Julian, you go to see him, we're in the golf cart, he
got
just
like
drives
12
right
different
up.
kinds.
We'll pick them right off the fruit without getting out of the golf cart. But if I try to keep them in a Tupperware and bring them home, even for later, they start to mush.
Yeah.
They really have to be eaten right off the
Yeah,
tree.
we make juice with it.
Yeah.
Just blend it,
Yeah.
strain it, and drink it juice, and it's
Yeah,
phenomenal.
but there's some delicious fruits we grow that we can't get to. Star fruit, not the kaimito, but the actual carambola.
Right.
Horrible shelf life.
Yeah, I ship them, though.
delicious fruit. You can, if you want to ship them overnight or 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah.
Or sometimes overnight, depends. If in Florida it's overnight, if
Yeah.
it's outside it's 2 days.
Yeah.
But I ship those, and I wrap them with craft paper.
Yeah.
And I cushion them with
Yeah.
craft paper, and I put fragile stickles
Yeah.
all over the box, and they make it okay. It's
Let me tell
amazing.
you something.
Let me tell you something. I think I'm providing a pretty cool service, being able to ship these star fruits, where they're super perishable and super fragile.
Yep, they're very
And
delicate.
them
They're
arriving
very-
with no complaints. I get no phone calls
And
after.
Julian, nobody has tasted the real flavor of a star fruit. Like Paul, where we grew up, it was used as up north. It was used as a garnish.
Garnish.
right?
Well,
Even
sour.
here in Whole Foods here, they sell them green for $2 each.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and
they're
they're
damaged.
they're
They're
yucky.
very-
They're not. They're meant to be decorative. They're not
Right.
even.
Yeah.
when
Well, in
you-
nature, they're sour.
Oh, let me tell you something. When you go, especially some of the varieties you have, it's got that bright orange, and you bite into it, and the juice drips down. Oh, they are so good. I know you're kind of turning away from them a little bit recently too, but I love me a nice carambola. But anyways, that's what's coming from me soon is Sapadilla, and we'll be introducing that to the market, and then we'll start picking Magana. Hopefully, the end of January. It depends. Doesn't depend on me. It depends on the Mame.
On Mother Nature.
Depends on Mother Nature. So that's what's coming from us, and I always look forward to Paul's videos as the seasons change. He starts getting into the different fruits that's going. So that's Fruitful Trees on YouTube or fruitfultrees.tv. And then, of course, we got Julian at larafarmsmiami.com. We have me at guacfarm.com, GUACFARM.com. And let me do one last round of questions, and then we're going to say goodbye to y'all. Alex Rodriguez grew up in a Cuban family, Alexi Rodriguez, and they called it Sapote. Didn't know it was called Nispero until they watched a video made with your dad, Julian.
Well, in different parts of Cuba, some places they call it Sapote,
Yeah.
which is the Latin name,
Yeah,
and some places they call it Nispero.
yeah.
So depends
Okay.
where you
They
are.
call it Chico in Asia.
Yeah, yeah. This guy, Ali, who asked about Saudi Arabia, it gets to 50 Celsius where he lives.
What is that
Holy
Fahrenheit?
crap.
That's like 130.
That's insane.
Yeah, you'd
dude.
have to put some circulation fans and 85% shade cloth.
God damn.
But thanks for getting back.
I mean, look over there. If they can create indoor ski mountains, you know what I mean? Then Cupcake Betty is saying there's a lot of good jokes to be made during this part of the conversation. I think she's keying in on macaque.
Oh,
talk.
yeah.
A lot of macaque talk.
Oh, that's an old joke, man. It's like,
Lot of
what's your,
macaque
what's your,
talking.
what's your favorite Sapadilla?
Macaque.
Macaque.
You want to know my wife's
You like,
favorite?
you like macaque?
You want to know my wife's favorite Sapadilla?
Which one?
Macaque.
That's an old joke, though.
Yeah, that's an old joke. It never stops being funny.
Yeah.
Georgia Gardner says thank you. Alexi Rodriguez gets a little bit of a Mame taste out of his Alanos. Kai Samerson, the man of many faces, says goodbye. Vagard Nossum, do we know anybody exporting to Europe? We do not. I don't think.
No.
No, it's
No.
prohibitive. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it's,
know, there might be one person that'll sell you fruit to Europe, and that'll be fruithunters.com.
okay. Okay. Cupcake Betty agrees the bright orange star fruit are the best. When they have that salmon, that Alaskan salmon fillet color,
Well, there's one that has red skin, and that's the Sri Kambangan
oh,
star fruit.
and I
The
guess
sun has to hit it, though.
Cupcake did the conversion for us. 50 Celsius is 122
Well,
in
close.
Fahrenheit. Yeah, you were. I've never been in that kind of heat. So that's it for us. Paul,
Thank you,
we're
everybody.
done.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right.
That was fun, as always.
As always, such great participation from.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
A lot. It was nonstop.